Captain America, don't be shy, bro.
Is this good? Like,
Is it good?
He's a first year, right?
Yeah, he's a newbie.
first
Well,
year.
Pat's a newbie too as well, right?
Yeah.
You guys have been back before.
Yes.
And then Pato?
Yeah, that's me. That's what they call me.
Just keep it. Is it okay with it? Or
I'm good. Yeah, I'm loud. I'm sorry.
I thought he meant opportunity in the trade. I was like,
yeah.
No.
sure.
Oh, yeah, no. He's a newbie in the
that's
trade.
what I was asking.
How can you be like 21? Like he's 21.
Well, you could be a fourth year at 21, like I was.
Well, you could. Yeah.
Technically
But-
speaking, yeah.
Yeah, you could. It all depends on what route you take and if you have the right people guiding you.
my guy's on.
You know
Very
what I mean?
good point.
My guy's on year 10 and he's 27.
Really, eh?
I got him fresh.
Yeah.
He's good.
No
But
mistakes.
see, and that's what it comes down to. It all depends on who grabs you by the wings. You know what I mean? Ask the proper questions.
But when it comes to generators, he's still not there yet.
Oh no, generators.
10 years.
Yeah,
Have you
for
been
sure.
Have you been to trade yet?
Pardon?
Have you been to trade school?
No, not.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll get into it.
He's in
Gentlemen,
the
welcome
school of
to the
hard knocks
show.
right now.
Welcome. Thank you so much, Carlo. You actually are responsible for this, so I really appreciate it. Thank you so
We
much. And
appreciate you,
welcome back.
brother.
Welcome
we
back.
appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you
Second
very
time.
much.
Yes.
Good. We've got some new guys in the show. Like Pato's back. Welcome back. Always
you.
pleasure to have
Yeah,
you back. And
glad
thank
to be
you very
back.
much for the vino.
Hey, I got you, brother. There you go.
It's not going to last, eh?
I'm sure it
it'll go
won't.
on the shelf, and then it'll come off this shelf,
There
and
you
it'll
go.
get consumed. So, and you brought your apprentice.
I did.
Tyler,
I did.
a.k.a. what?
Captain America.
Captain America? Rogers?
Yes.
Steve? You want to share that story?
Nah, that's just what he calls me.
When he started with me, he was like this.
So you're bulking up.
He's bulking up.
I remember.
So-
I remember my 20s.
There you go.
You on creatine?
Fuck, me too.
Of course.
You can have creatine, and all of a sudden you blink, and you're all of a sudden
Look at
thick, man.
Right?
I
So
love
he actually
creatine.
has a funny story when he was trying to get into the trade. And that's why I call him Captain America now. He'll get to it.
I'm curious.
You want me to talk to him about now?
No, yeah. Why did you start training at 21? Like, what? No, you started earlier than that, right?
I used to weigh like 140 pounds, so I was kind of like
Soaking wet.
I think my legs weigh 140 pounds, man.
So I don't know. I got a membership, and then I started going, and then I realized it just.
You started seeing some gains, and all of a sudden, then the trade.
The ladders are not as heavy anymore. You know what I mean? The spools of wire are not as heavy anymore.
Yeah.
So
Well, we'll get back into it. But
There you go.
Pat. Welcome to the show, first timer.
Thanks for having me.
No, we just met, and
Yeah.
and I've heard highly of you. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad to have you on the show.
Yeah. I've been listening to the show for a short time now, and I just got into it because of Carlo when he was on the show.
Well, I apologize then.
Yeah.
I
No,
may have
I'll
said
be honest,
something. I don't know.
I was even telling him on the way here, man, this is the one podcast that I absolutely have listened to religiously. It's the most truth.
Thanks.
And then I could pick out some of the
Real.
I could pick out some of the stuff that some of the episodes that are my favorite was the Reno actor one, by the way. Just hands down. Hands down, I was dying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was listening to that while I was friggin' wiring up a shed, and I'll be honest, I couldn't stop. I was dying laughing. I actually did an Instagram story, and it's in the background.
You
doing
know what?
push-ups in the shed before you came out, so you look.
I'm glad that you noticed that there's authentic action going on the show here, and I've gotten in trouble a few times for it. But I'm at the point where I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah,
So-
I'm at the point in the trade I don't give a shit. The trade is the trade. You know what I mean? It's
No,
construction.
but are we learning? Are we sharing? Are we bettering ourselves? Are we making the industry better, stronger? Are we preparing it for the younger generation? Yeah. We're doing all of that, so it's beneficial for us to
Yes.
be
But,
this way.
but at the same time, you got to keep it real.
Yes,
I was just gonna say that it's real. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is.
exactly.
You know what I mean? I can sit here and bullshit to Tyler all day long. Eventually, he's gonna call me out on it because reality is reality. He's gonna see what's happening out there.
How long you been, Tyler, with Pato?
A couple years now. So like a.
For his,
Oh, wow.
so he's the first.
Correct.
He's my first apprentice, and I'm his first employer.
Lots,
Don't- Tyler,
lots of patience.
It's not a set-in here. Like you don't have to just.
Just chill. Sit back.
Nobody's going to prison, right? It's like, no.
I'm
don't-
kinda
don't you-
nervous, so-
No, it's fair to be nervous. I mean, I've done 400 shows, and Pat, I'm sure you're going to be comfortable right away. But it's a little daunting. You got lights all around us. You got cameras all around it. And we're going to talk, and we're recording right now. But man, there's nothing We're going to educate right now. So I know that the plumbers had it one up on you guys. They got in here first.
Yeah, fuck. What's up with that, bro? You know what I mean? Come on. What's going on here?
But now it's the Sparky's turn, right? But we're going to have a really good show about generators, specifically
You
generators.
should have had, like, if you wanted to go, you should have had it on, like, whoever was first on site. Like, HVAC is always first.
That's
like,
a good
Then
point.
plumbers, then electricians.
It's a great
it's
point.
always been like that.
But trust me, it's been a long struggle to even just get these shows, these roundtables started.
This took a while.
Yes,
To get Kohler
it took a
involved.
while. Like I got to coordinate 4 people's lives and put everything together, and then come the show and the ideas, the talking, and everything like that. So it's like, I agree with you. I would love to have started, with excavators, demo guys, and all that stuff, and do that thing. But
I don't know if anybody ever thought about this. Like, how much do you put into, like, I looked at those, the notes that you sent. Like, that was crazy. I'm like, that's a lot.
yeah,
of
there's a little bit
research.
of homework attached to this show. It's not just like, don't worry, anybody can look around. There's no cue cards.
So you
here. I just
ready?
make up this shit.
I read a lot of it. I
It's
didn't
a
read
guide. That's all it is. It's just a guide.
See, I have it,
man.
like, right. I have it. Oh,
No, I know you have it.
I seen chit notes.
But let's go around like Carlo. Let's start with you. Let's go around the table. Everybody introduce themselves, and please, by all means, share all your handles and everything.
Carlo
like that.
from Effect Electric, IG Effect Electric Ltd, and Facebook, same.
And the website as well too, right?
Website, effectelectric.com.
And then you're a Kohler generator.
I'm a Kohler direct dealer generator, a service installer, supplier. Been doing electrical since 98, so 25 years.
Wow, I remember the 90s.
And on my own for 12 or 13 years.
That's awesome.
Yes.
And Pat?
Pat Davidson, if you want to search me up, IG is Davidson's underscore electrical. I don't know. It's
It'll come up. It'll come
Davidson's electrical, and then you can find us on davidsonselectrical.ca. Been in the trade since 2000. Been on my own for 12 years. Well, sorry, 13. It was when my son was born, so he's 13. So it's 13 years. And
That's the tape measure, huh?
yeah. So I do primarily, we're a full service electrical contractor. I specialized for many, many years in just electrical construction. Got back in 2014, got into generators, became like a Generac dealer, left Generac, came back to become a Generac dealer recently again. But we service all of like makes and models, and you know what I mean? So
Nice. Tyler, you're working with Pato,
Correct.
but you've been 2 years.
First year, yeah.
First year, right?
Around, yeah.
Why did you choose electrical? You had all the trades to choose. I'm curious about why.
To be honest, I actually really like it. I don't know why I do. It's just something about.
But you had your option. Like you're at an age where you
I
had
went
your
to
pick.
I went to college actually for home renovation
Okay.
and carpentry, but I didn't.
Didn't want
It
to swing a
wasn't,
hammer.
it wasn't it. I just
You
didn't
wanted
like
to
it.
use a staple gun. Automated staple guns now.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's insane.
But
Okay.
I don't know. It's something about like you put in so much work and then like you see like the final product, and I feel like it's worth it. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just kind of like a reward afterward. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm curious, your circle of friends, they in the trades or they're in something else?
I have a few friends that are doing electrical.
Okay.
Some are doing like they work on cars, whatever. I guess a mechanic.
But they're hands-on career options.
Most of them, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And then Pato, of course.
I'm back. Glad to be back.
Welcome back.
Instagram is Pato the Electrician. And I also have P Square Electric on Instagram. Email is info@psquare.ca. Been in the trade for 25 years now. First 20 years, it was all commercial, electrical, and fire alarms. And now that I'm on my own, I do commercial electrical, residential electrical, and fire alarms.
I got an odd question to start off with, right? Not necessarily generator related, but I remember being a kid and noticing whenever there was an electrician that had to come to the house to do some work, they always had a facial scar. And I always
not a
wondered
good sign.
why. Like,
I've seen a couple of Sparkies get scars on their face. I'll
Yeah,
tell you why.
yeah.
In the commercial, your fish sticks get stuck. And I'll never forget the first guy that I seen split his lip open. He's got the pliers.
funny
He's
you s-
fucking
it's
pulling on
always
it.
around, yeah.
And it's just slipped and bam. I never forgot.
Haven't we all done that? I got a scar right here from that.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
exact same thing.
Yeah. See, same thing. It's
Okay,
the
but that's off
infinite.
topic there. But I mean, like, we're gonna talk generators, and this show is gonna be brought to you by like Kohler Generators, which is great, and also Effect Electric. So I mean, why do you guys, or I guess the question really is, has there been a huge jump in generators in the last 5 years?
I definitely noticed.
Did the pandemic
Yeah.
contribute to that jump as well too?
Yeah.
Did we see a jump in all kinds of new wiring, servicing? Like,
I'll
did we
say
see
so.
all that?
I specialize in backup power, so just in general, not just generators, but UPS systems, solar
Right.
systems, huge jump. But at the same time, that's when electrical started taking off for electrical backup, like Tesla.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? So
Right.
it all kind of,
Are those power walls any good?
amazing.
Are they?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Kohler's got their own called
Right.
Power.
See, I didn't
Reserve.
even know that. Off mic before we got started,
Yep.
we were like, I didn't know about Kohler chocolates until after I knew about all the
Yep.
Kohler plumbing. Right?
Kohler's got Power Reserve, which is exactly like the Tesla Powerwall.
I didn't even know that.
Yep. So you can wire it up.
Is it designed the same way as a generator to connect it to set it
Yep.
up?
It's an all-in-one, so it'll run off the battery. If the battery runs out, the generator starts up.
What the? Have you
Nice.
tackled those or you haven't?
No, I haven't like all the Powerwall stuff. I know Kohler's got theirs. Generac got theirs. I think this Briggs got
Generac's got theirs too.
Briggs got one.
No.
Tesla's got theirs. I've never worked on one.
Can we start with all the, like, you guys being Sparkies and everything? Can we just all agree that Toronto has the worst infrastructure when it comes to electrical?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Toronto Hydro? Hell yeah.
Yeah. Dealing with Toronto Hydro.
Is it Toronto Hydro or is it all the
fucking nightmare.
municipals? Is it like,
No, Toronto Hydro's on a league of their own.
is it because
fuck-ups.
it's just
Yeah,
they don't care? Like, are we going to?
No, they outgrew for the system they built.
And not just that, I think that you have no choice. They got you by the balls at the end of the day.
It's a monopoly.
That's it.
Stay close.
The amount of money that they charge compared to, say, Electra or Hydro One, first of all, the wait times to schedule a service
And you pay more to schedule it
more.
sooner.
is insane.
Pato, how much for a disconnect? So I work primarily north of 9. So how much for a disconnect in Toronto?
Toronto.
In Toronto, I did one last week and it cost $750.
So Orangeville Hydro, $65.
There you go.
And in power.
Are you kidding me?
And
See what I'm saying? It's
and
absolutely
in power,
nuts.
where I'm from, zero.
Look at this.
Halton Hills is like 145.
Wow. See, Electra in Brampton, Mississauga area gives the clients 2 freebies. And then if you need any more disconnect, reconnects after 2, which I don't know why you would need more than that, if anything, then they start charging you. So most of the time, they don't pay. It's free. Hydro One, same thing. I did
One free a year.
That's right. I did a service in Bolton and no pay.
Yeah.
I go do one in Toronto, $750. Pow. I'm like, holy shit.
That seems cheap because I just did a custom home in Toronto, and the whole process of getting a disconnect of the old service and a reconnect of a new service, that whole process was like $5,000.
Did you have to move lines and run new lines?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we got quoted for one job that had the meter base inside the basement. You know the old Toronto houses that have the meters inside?
Inside, yeah.
So yeah, we're doing a service. We want to move the meter, bring it outside. They got quoted $30,000.
I believe it.
So they were like,
I believe it.
Yeah, we're not doing it. I'm like, fair enough. I don't blame you. Shit,
No.
that's a car.
I would call like Hydro One, like InPower,
Right.
like Orangeville. You call them. You know the procedure,
Yeah,
right?
Do
you
the
call
survey,
them. What
do
day
all
do you
that,
want?
Locates.
Come do the disconnect. Come do the reconnect. Very simple. Toronto Hydro's not like that.
No, right away, you have to do a locate.
Book.
And-
Wait weeks for that locate.
That's right.
Is that an overhead service?
Yes.
Yes, they're all over it.
For 30
pretty much.
grand?
Toronto's
30 grand.
never dug a hole.
I
in
couldn't
their life,
fucking
right?
No, they
believe it.
sub it up.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. And they sub it out to Enterra,
Yeah.
right? It's one of the bigger ones in Toronto that
The engineers
gets
have to
subbed
come
out.
out, so you're paying them. That's why.
That's right.
That customer paid like $5,000.
A couple of years back, well, more than a couple of years back now, I stepped my foot into Toronto there and did an overhead service. Yeah, so I took all the lighting off my truck so nobody would know.
Right.
So, but I did a service and they were like, "Yeah, just disconnect it yourself."
That was back in the day.
That was
Yeah,
back in the
like
day.
They don't do
still
that anymore.
No,
do
they
that
won't
anymore?
get
They don't do that anymore.
No, eh?
Yeah, no.
You'll get a team of overalls standing behind
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
with one guy doing one job.
And it's a liability issue, right? Like, I mean, I even had one guy say, listen, man, I would love to just have you cut the log, but then we're
Yeah.
both fucked. And I'm like, I'm not touching that, bro.
I did my apprentice in Toronto.
Right,
So
right.
back in the day, it was just cut it, go up and cut it yourself.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
Put the temporary clippers on the live lines and use whatever power you want.
As we continue to incriminate ourselves,
Oh,
Tyler, are you seeing?
Hey, what's
are
in
you
the past
seeing-
is in the past.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
Tyler, have
seeing
you
this?
cut any locks yet?
No.
I have not.
No.
He's back at the Senate
wait
hearings.
till your second year.
He was warned on the way here.
Listen, every plumber I know has a key, okay, to
Oh,
shut down the power, the
Right.
plumbing, right? So
Yeah.
the water, they all have it. We all
sure.
know, right? But the thing is, we gotta. There's little tricks of the trade. That's
Oh,
what it
100%,
is, right?
yeah.
Does Kohler educate you on the history of the generator? Because I know that off mic before we got started.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know this, but they were first in
yeah,
business.
1920
So what's a little bit of the history on the generator?
of.
Why? Why did people start coming up with? Why did they design the generator, the standby generator?
I think it was because of the World War.
That's where it got started from. First World War.
Yeah,
Really? Wow.
I think.
Well, I was fascinated by hearing about the story about how Kohler, actually, the company itself for plumbing, started with horse troughs. They came up with a cast iron horse trough, and then that turned into a bathtub.
Really?
That's how it started. That's their history.
Yeah.
They made the best horse troughs.
I can make such
Back
a joke
in
about
the
this
day.
right now.
Amazing.
Like in my head right now,
wasn't-
going, "Hey man,
what's
plumbing
funny?
shit. I don't know."
It doesn't. It's not even that long ago. Like 1920.
It's not.
It's not that long.
No,
ago.
it's not. It's not
But it
crazy.
is. Like,
It's- yeah.
but it's only one generation ago,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Wow.
So they started coming up with all these power kind of systems.
Yeah. Now they're going full tilt and reusable, renewable power, whether it's power reserve or just making a better, more powerful engine. They're going hard.
Really?
But I mean, like, how do you fix, and I joke about it as you guys have heard on the show, Toronto's got the worst electrical infrastructure ever, and it's not getting better.
Nuclear.
That's all it is?
Yeah. You can't talk about that these days because of climate change, but that is the most.
With a country that has more trees
Yeah. Right.
that are filtering, that's a whole other argument, right? I get it.
Yeah, we're net zero because of our trees, but don't get me start talking about it.
Yeah.
No, but this whole grid is just gonna get worse with all this EV.
Yeah, you gotta-
goals and everything else.
You got to
like-
upgrade.
Yeah.
So is it just
100%.
me, or is everybody seeing power outages? Like, that's why you and I were having a
Brownouts.
conversation the other day about legitimately about a generator.
Yeah.
And I was like going, why am I seeing more? I don't remember seeing this many power outages
no.
when I was a kid.
And to your point, what you said earlier, when the pandemic came, all of a sudden everybody's locked down their homes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everybody's using power. All of a sudden, if you're a family of 4, if you're a family of 5, that's potentially 4 to 5 TVs on. I don't know about you guys, but in my house, my kids, bro, lights are on, the fans on, the AC's on, the TV's on, the radio's on, everything's on. It's like, holy Jesus.
I'm thinking
man,
about
like,
going to that room, so I'm going to put the light on. Leave it on. Yeah.
You know, like it's insane.
But when they built the grid in Toronto, remember the standard was 60 amps
60
for a home.
amps. Yeah, that's right.
They didn't know that they were going to have electric cars pulling 80 amps on a Ford Lightning.
No, I get it,
Right?
but they should have known that 60 was going to jump to 100 very quickly, right?
The grid has to be updated, and they don't want to pay for it.
Are new subdivisions being built
Yes.
starting off at 200 nowadays? That's it?
No.
No.
No?
The standard is 100. They
Still
can't-
100.
Yeah, no, they
It's-
can't give everyone 200.
No, they do 100, but they do provisions for 200.
So they run the ground wires.
Everything
Yeah.
is rated for 200.
For 200.
So all the
everything going
loads-
to your house is all 3/0 aluminum,
Got it.
and I don't know how they would get away with using that, but
Yeah, different
There,
specs.
there's
That's a different
There are
argument.
3/0 aluminum going to your house.
That's cheap.
So all you're doing is basically changing your line set going from your meter into your house.
That's right. Your low side. That's it.
all
But
you-
everything is already set for 200, so that way you can upgrade to 200
when it's new.
when it's new.
And then they built the proper power station with that in mind when it's a new subdivision, right?
That's right.
But you go to anything in Toronto, it's all based on the old thing, so they have to
That's
update it, but they don't want to pay for it. So they literally only update it when it blows up.
That's right.
That's it. That's the only.
This roundtable is brought to you by Kohler Home Generators and Effect Electric Ltd.
The all-new Kohler Home Generator. The most powerful. The most durable. The most customizable. And the quietest home generator you can buy. When it counts, count on Kohler.
I can't tell you how many times I've upgraded a service in Toronto to 200 amp, and it's attached to like number 6s.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Put it this way. We're doing a project. We started a second project in a house. We got to do the full service, the whole works. And it's so old that they have one line from the street overhead coming to the one house and is tied to his neighbor.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that before.
And I
you know.
had the boys from Enterra, which is hydro, right? And I said to them, I go, buddy, I go, not for nothing, but I feel like I'm in, like back home. You know what I mean? In South America, where you go there, you go on vacation, you look up and you're like, Jesus Christ, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, you'll be surprised in this area, it's all like that.
And it's going to be a problem because they're actually going to start drawing the EV power. So if
That's right.
they never have to worry about two houses being on a number 6 wire because maybe the odds of them doing the laundry at the same time were rare or cooking at the same time.
Exactly.
But now if two cars are charging at the same time, that's a problem.
That's a problem. You're looking at 40, 50 amps minimum.
Per car.
Yeah.
Right?
Per car.
So
per
you have to
house.
charge one and then charge the next one.
What? But they're not because it's
But
separate
isn't the
homes.
charging happening all overnight kind of thing? It
Yeah,
takes
so
a few
imagine
hours,
everyone's
right?
charging at nighttime because
And
it's
you're-
cost effective.
And a full charge, correct me if I'm wrong, you're looking at roughly about 4 to 5 hours.
Yes, 4.
Right.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah.
Give or take,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, you know, that's still a long time. So what about all those people that work the night shift? Or during the day and they get up, they come home.
Well,
in
I
the
think
middle
it's
of the
just a
night.
fact
That's a
that
lot.
every electrician I've spoken to on this show, right, and we've had a few of them, the city's not ready for any of this stuff. You can't do it. You can't turn a complete street.
The city, the country.
The country, you're right. Totally. The
We're not.
country's-
We're not any different from anywhere else.
Oh, it's even
man.
probably worse in BC,
Yeah.
right? I can only assume, and maybe even worse than. But and Quebec's far worse because they use electric for heating purposes too.
Yeah, but we generate enough power. Like
But how much of that also goes to the States?
because we have excess and it costs money to store it, right? Niagara Falls alone gives all of Canada
So why
and
not give
the
homeowners
US,
the
and the
opportunity
North
US
America,
to
that
store
one thing,
their
right?
own power?
Sorry?
Why not give homeowners the opportunity to store their own power?
Well, then they don't make money on the service charge. That goes back to the whole solar argument.
And feeding back to the grid and everything else. They don't want that.
Yeah.
They're not making money. It's all money.
Yes. They make
And
a
the
killing
other thing
off of the
too
service.
is if you give somebody the ability to store something, you need them to store a way to store
Yeah.
batteries.
And that's dangerous.
Hazardous.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
And
too.
costly because now you have to build a concrete thing to have it in there because it's got to be fire rated, blah, 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 blah.
But you got natural
it's-
gas going into houses. You've got electrical going
Oh,
into
I know.
houses. You got like a house is a natural hazard if you don't.
But the
take care of
difference
it.
is the natural gas is making money. If I have a whack of batteries, if I have a set of battery, like if I have a battery bank to store, nobody's making money off of me.
No.
So
You know what I mean?
also too is like when you have power going to a house, you're consuming that instantly. Okay?
Yes.
That's instantaneous consumption. Same with gas. You're consuming that instantly. Same with water. Except for okay, water tank, but you're consuming that instantly.
Yes.
Flooded cell battery, there's liquid being stored, like battery acid being stored
Yes.
in your house. And let's just say you had, I don't know, what's typical, like 20 batteries?
Yeah, but that's the old school battery banks.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Powerwall and Tesla.
Okay.
Tesla Powerwall and Power Reserve doesn't work like that.
But you'll get guys that are basically building these. What you
Well,
call
we're going to
the
get to that
Frankensteins.
point. Are we not going to get to that
It's a
point?
different type of battery.
But you're going to start selling, like I could see a generator being set up in a home now. I can see power walls or those packs being installed in a wall, solar power. Like you're going to start
And
seeing
they won't
them-
let you disconnect off the grid even if you don't need
No,
them.
that,
'cause
that's
they
the
need
one thing that
service
I
charge.
can't stand is because they need the service charge.
Yeah.
So you cannot go off 100% off the grid.
No.
They won't allow you to do
They
that.
used to. They changed
Did
it. They changed it in 2005, I think. Kathleen Wynne is the one who put the nail in the coffin for that.
Yeah, that's great. That's wonderful.
No comment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now you got to go. I think the limit now is you got to go pretty much to the Muskoka area and north for you to be allowed to disconnect legally.
So all it is just capitalism at its best.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
got a house up in Dufferin County. They're off. They're totally off grid.
Yeah, yeah. You
So
you
they-
find
they-
it
Try doing that in Toronto.
in-
You
not
can
a
do
shot,
that
no.
in the
Not a shot,
GTA.
no.
It's never going to
You can even collect rainwater if you wanted to
They
in
use-
the GTA.
They use they use the building code as their excuse for the reason why you can't disconnect because of fire alarm, backup
Right.
power.
Okay, hang on one second.
But if
First of
you-
all,
Yeah, but
ESA and
fire
building
alarm-
code are two different.
No, but when you ask Hydro, I want to disconnect power because I have my own power. Their excuse to you is, sorry, by law, city building code, you need backup power for your fire alarms. Even if you tell them you have two sources, generator and electricity backup power, they still.
But isn't
won't
the
let you do it.
ESA permit already?
Oh no, ESA is not the problem.
No, it's usually the building permits
Yeah,
and the building.
it's the
department.
It's the city.
Yeah.
It's the city. They use that code as the excuse for you not to disconnect.
The Electrical Safety Authority does not care if you have a smoke detector in your house.
No.
What they care about is
Done
how
properly.
you wired that
That's
up.
right. And
So your building code will tell you we need a 2-in-1 in the bedroom, we need a 3-in-1 outside sleeping quarters. ESA will say how you wire that up. That's our concern.
that's it. That's all they care about. So a lot of people that do renovations, they're like, oh no, I don't want smoke alarms. Like, are you sure? You need them.
You get homeowners that actually say that?
I've had some that don't want them in the bedrooms because of
yeah.
the strobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I don't want the strobe. I go, listen, it's not even a requirement from us. It's the building. So when you come and do your final inspections, the walkthroughs, they're going to call you out on it. And then you're going to have me come back to install it. And I'm going to cut the shit out of your walls and ceilings to install it. Right?
Yeah.
Do you know how many general contractors do not want smoke detector?
No,
They want to
it's-
get rid of it because, like, you're looking at what, $105 a smoke detector?
And that's on
they're
the cheap end.
150 each.
That's on the cheap end, 105
Yeah.
for a 2-in-1. Never mind the 3-in-1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, everything's getting up there.
But the funny thing is, they all come with a sealed battery backup.
Yes.
So
10 years.
that's right.
But they don't care that it makes sense.
They care
It's
about
in the code.
Interconnected too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
the
gotta
thing.
But
be
they,
interconnected,
they have
100%.
wireless
Yeah.
interconnected now.
Yeah, but that's ESA won't allow that.
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying they do.
They do, yeah,
If that's
100%.
excuse,
Yeah.
right? They're always using an old excuse for you not to be able to disconnect.
And that's what I was getting at. That is ridiculous because they have the wireless ones, to your point, battery operated, 10-year, sealed. You can even take out the battery if you want.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the electrical ones interconnected, which are also battery backup, 10-year, sealed. So what's the problem?
But even without that, if your house was on a generator and on solar power, and you asked to disconnect, you should be allowed
100%.
because you have two sources of backup.
That's right.
What if you just stop paying your bill?
I guess Trudeau will be at your door. I'm here to collect.
You could do that.
Just stop paying your bill.
I don't. Everyone stopped paying their
See,
bill.
the thing is, you stop paying your bill, that interest rate is just going to go up, go up.
I want to ask you guys, and also Tyler, I want to ask you, what's the one thing that you've learned so far in electrical that you just think is ridiculous?
I don't even know.
You think everything makes common sense?
For the most part, like I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now, but
You don't think it's ridiculous why you have to go look for the wire stretcher in the van? I would have said that. Like, where the hell is that in the van?
I still can't find it.
It's by the 2x4 stretcher.
Like 23 years in, I'm still looking for that fucking.
It's right beside the checker paint,
Yeah,
bro. Come on, how can you miss it?
it's funny because he'll send me to the truck to grab something, and then I come back and I'm like, oh, I can't find it. Then he goes to the truck and he finds it in like 5 seconds.
Yep.
And I'm
And
like,
I'm like, really? Really?
I'm
is that a
gonna
question?
give you a hint though. He's sending you there so he can look at his phone.
I need that break. Oh, it's great.
I wanted to ask you guys, what's the number one reason why homeowners want a generator? Why, like your job coming up and you
Peace of mind.
It's just that's the number one reason.
Peace of mind.
So when they lose power in the house,
Yep.
What I tell any potential customers when they're on the fence about, because it is a lot of money. It's usually going to cost between 16 and 20K on average.
Yeah.
For a residential backup.
for the unit, for
Everything.
disconnect,
The whole thing.
for
The coordination with hydro, ATS, right?
Got it.
What I tell them is the first time that goes out in the month of February when it's minus 30, you will not regret it.
Right.
Because personally, that's how I felt.
The custom home that I'm doing, I asked him. And I also asked him if you wanted a automatic transfer switch or a manual one with the interlocks and whatnot. And he said, nope, I want an automatic. I'm like, you sure? It's got to be a
I've
certain...
never seen a manual one.
Yeah.
A
They have
manual
the...
what?
It's just
Manual
a breaker
manual transfer switch.
interlock. Yeah. And he goes, nope, I want it to be automatic. And I said, well, we got to plan this properly. It's got to be a certain distance from the house and from the size, everything, right? He goes, nope, I want it. And I go, okay, now you need to think of what you want on it. TV in the bedroom.
It's funny.
So if the
I was a
power goes
homeowner,
out,
I
he
would
wants to
start.
chill and watch TV.
I would start with a refrigerator.
No, hey,
Water pumps.
As
So
funny as it sounds, he's got
TV?
the TV is what he said first. And I was like,
That's funny.
okay, I get it. You know what I mean?
Okay, but
Switch is
TVs
old,
don't
right?
use that much power. It's the receiver.
But the fridge, freezer, and a couple of lights. But he said, I want to be able to, if the power goes out, I don't give a shit. I want to be able to chill and watch TV. I'm like, hey, man, do
And
it.
all you really,
your money, not mine,
and
right?
Because they take up such little power, all you really need to ask is how many AC units do you have, how many furnaces do you have, and how many kitchens do you have?
Right.
That's
Okay,
it.
so let me ask you this. He's got 2 furnaces, 2 mechanical rooms.
Yeah.
He's got 2 kitchens. He said he will only want 1.
You're already at liquid cooled. You're already at liquid.
So that's the thing, is that you guys have to do all your calculations, right?
Well, you can go online on Kohler, click what you have in your house, and it'll tell you the size that you should have.
Really?
Based on the size of the house, based on how many rooms.
It
based
doesn't
on-
matter the square footage. It matters what you have in your house.
What you're putting
That's-
on it.
That's a common misconception.
Your
Oh,
load,
really?
your load count,
You just
calc
want the
electrical is
loads,
based
that's
off
it.
of square footage.
You can have a 8,000 square foot home and
Yeah.
1 furnace and 1 AC, and a small house with 2 furnaces and 2 ACs,
Right.
and that small house is going to need a bigger generator than the big one.
Yeah, based off of usage.
I like that. I don't have to do any math. I just punch in what
Yeah.
I need and
Now, I don't know. Does Generac have that?
Yeah, I don't know if they have it on their website, but I know.
Yeah, it's definitely on Kohler's. Like the very first thing you'd see on
Really?
KohlerGenerators.com, you're
well,
going to
he's
see that.
going
So
Generac.
I'm gonna give you. I'll give you a hint though. Not a lot of guys do a load calc for a
No.
generator. You know what they do? Well, it used to be, hey, you need a 22. Now it's, hey, you need a 26.
Yeah, upselling.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody just, you can tell everybody's just pushing 22s, 20. Now then it was 24s. Now it's 26s.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
So what is the calculation? So, okay, you got to look at the consuming items, right? And you got to figure out what that power consumption is.
Yeah,
What's the biggest generator right now for residential?
air cooled or
26,
liquid?
26 air.
26 air cooled is the biggest, which is Kohler's.
And liquid?
Okay.
Oh, it goes as high as you want, like what, 150?
100 and
No,
Really?
more than that. That's it.
No, I'm saying for residential.
For liquid cooled, it goes up to like megawatt. Like
Yeah,
that's-
no, I'm saying for residential.
residential.
Yeah, residential,
Like light
yeah.
residential will top off at 150.
Yes, Kohler's is 150 also.
150 kilowatts. But the average home is taking what, 26?
If you need it, you don't even need it.
Yeah, you don't even need it because your constant loads are.
What is your constant load in a typical
The
house?
average home, like 100, unless you have a hot tub or an EV charging, those are the 2 things that are going to draw the most.
At the same time.
Yeah, but when there's a power outage, you want to
Right,
keep that hot tub above 0, and you still
Yeah.
want to charge your car if it's going to be a week.
True.
It's
So you
kind
gotta-
of
you gotta-
it's ironic that you're having a conversation about hot tub and EV.
Well, they take up the most power, right?
Yeah.
And the dryer.
Hot tub and EV.
Well, any heating element for the most part, anything that draws heat draws a lot of
Anything with an element.
power with
Yeah.
an element, right? Heating elements.
Yeah, so a dryer is your most.
So unless you have a gas dryer.
Yes.
The thing that will wreak havoc on a generator, though, will be a motor. A motor that you have to start up will always wreak havoc on a generator. So if you have high motor loads, like a compressor for an AC, like
So
you
I
go
got-
down south too. You go down south, you got 4 AC. You could have up to 4 ACs per house.
Yes.
Okay, so I got a question then. Now that you're talking motors, and this house that I'm doing, he's gonna have a Generac.
Okay.
He told me flat out he's not sure of the size yet. I'm like, okay, no, fair. We're gonna do a calculation. We're gonna figure out what we need. I have an elevator in this house.
Yeah, that's not the biggest thing.
No,
Elevators don't consume power?
Yeah,
they
they
do,
do.
but that's
They
not.
do.
That's the least of your worries.
I mean it's a hydraulic elevator,
When
so it
that
won't be
elevator
as bad.
kicks on, when that
It's
elevator
gonna
kicks
draw.
on,
It'll draw.
it's gonna rise.
He also has a car lift,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? So
So right away, you'd probably be looking
just
at
those 2 things. The car lift has got a big motor because it's all steel. It goes down to the basement and to the garage, and it also elevates.
So what would you start
100% right away. Tell him you're looking at liquid cooled.
Yeah.
And the way you can sell him on that too is a liquid cooled will always be hands down. Even believe it or not, 150 liquid cooled will be quieter than a 20 air cooled.
Right.
Yeah.
Far quieter.
So
Well, he did mention that as well, actually.
The
He
RPM.
It is
be quiet.
so a
'cause-
liquid cooled will always be quieter because air cooled they run at 3,600 RPM.
Right.
A liquid cooled will run at 1,800 RPM.
Well,
Okay.
it's more
And,
maintenance,
And then
and it doesn't sound like a lot, but you can't even tell it's on sometimes.
but it will be more
So
maintenance.
and
now.
then for I think Kohler does this too. For exercise,
yeah.
every generator I think does
Yes.
this where they
Timing
on
is
their
different.
exercise they drop down to 1,800 RPM also.
Yes.
And what is it, like a 5-minute cool down once it shuts down?
So for
No, that's difference in the brands.
Yeah, so they're all different. So for shutdown, I know that Generac is roughly 30-second on retransfer and then a minute cooldown. Cummins is. I actually just figured this out the other day. Cummins is 5 and 5, so they're 5-minute retransfer, 5-minute shutdown.
I'm used to the commercial generators, right? That you got anywhere between 2.5 to 5 minute cool
Kohler's
down.
is 3 minutes.
So that thing just keeps fucking
You're
running.
3?
Yeah, it's 3 minutes.
Isn't it was on retransfer?
I think it's 60 seconds.
Okay, it sounds.
We had that, remember?
It sounds pretty normal. Yeah, I think it was because the one in Lindsay, I think it was about 60 seconds.
Yeah.
But if you can adjust that cooldown period, you want to adjust that. I know a guy actually.
Not me. Oh, you.
No.
Is that for servicing or longevity of the motor?
Longevity
So
of the state.
put it this way: if you were to shut down a generator under load, you will that all that energy that just was in the stator has to go somewhere.
Which is a lot of energy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And that's what you don't want. So you want to disconnect that power and keep running that stator to cool that down.
Right.
What you're wanting to do is you want it to cool stator down, right? And you want it as much as you can. If you get a 15-minute cool down, run it for 15 minutes. So honestly, it's not going to take up that much fuel.
And if it's not loud, then why
not.
not? If it's going to save the generator,
The only time where like a long cool down period becomes a factor is like people hear, okay, my power's back on, but my generator's still running. It's just like, it's because.
And that's what I'm saying. If
Wait
it's
a
a
couple
quiet
minutes.
generator, then have it cool down for as long as you can to save.
But also what you got to keep in mind is, and this is where it comes down to difference in the brands, right? When you're using the top end of the amount of power that's available from a generator, the more power you use, the more unbalanced your voltage is going to be. Right? So Kohler's is, if it's pumping out 240, even when it's drawing its max, it's pretty damn close to 240. For other brands, it'll drop to like 215.
Really, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which is bad.
Yeah, no, that makes a big difference.
When you're at the max.
Yeah. Okay.
Like when you're drawing like full tilt.
Yeah, when you're drawing full tilt. And remember, the breaker, like for a 24 Generac, it's on 100, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And then steps
How
up to-
hot does the breaker get?
Oh, no, it doesn't, because the generator is only capable of giving you 80.
Oh, got it. 80 a max?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're breakered at 80. You don't want to draw more than 80 if you're breakered at 100.
No,
People,
because you
people
got-
assume it's on 100 amp
So
breaker.
what are you
I've got
calculating now? So if you've got to calculate the whole house.
Yes.
But you need to get a generator that's going to be 20% higher than that.
Yeah, because you don't want to bring the stator to its max anyways.
Not only that, like a stator, after running for half an hour, 45 minutes, a stator will be derated. So if you had like a 20 kilowatt, after about an hour, that's only a 18 kilowatt. Well, depending on if you're like...
Because of the heat.
If you're liquid propane, you're higher all the time than natural gas.
Because it burns hotter.
So then your stator will be derated a little bit, because as it gets hot, all that metal breaks down a little bit. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah. So like on a propane, like so on Kohler's
The majority of people in Toronto and other surrounding areas,
Natural gas.
It's going to be natural
it's-
gas. When you get to the further north outskirts,
which is where they
propane.
mostly get installed, is further north.
Yeah, you get to rule. You're always liquid propane. Any federal building, and I think provincial too, you're mandated to be diesel.
No.
Yeah, you are. Federal, you're diesel.
No,
100%.
Yeah, no, but you have the option of installing
here we
natural
go.
gas too.
Not for a federal.
Yeah.
They want a diesel. They always
That changed.
Really?
Yes.
somebody
just
bring
sold-
a book. Somebody bring a code book. No.
I just sold 150 natural gas Kohler, which is the only brand that sells a natural gas 150 kilowatt 600 volt generator.
For what though?
600
Building.
volt?
600 volt, 3-phase.
Okay.
For an E EV.
No. No, because commercial, you're kind of handcuffed to, if you want the power, you have to go diesel. Right?
That I
now,
know. Yeah.
No,
now-
like federal buildings, they only regulate diesel because it's a standalone generator. Like when you have a diesel, you have your tank at the bottom. It's a standalone system. So their mentality is, if we ever got hit by a terrorist attack,
Right.
they want their generators not connected to natural gas. They don't want to be connected. They want a standalone system.
So what Kohler just did was they came out with the first 600 volt natural gas, 3-phase 600 volt for Canadians as their primary, but it still hooks up to the propane that he's talking about and does an automatic transfer in case it gets cut off.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Really? Between
Yeah.
the two
Automatic
fuel sources?
Yeah. Even
shit.
during
Nice.
even under load,
Yeah.
you will not see the difference in the switchover.
So it can switch over even under load.
Under load. And
Kinda
you
makes
won't
me
even
feel
see the
nervous
difference.
inside.
Yeah, I actually witnessed it.
Really?
It's really good.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
So that's going to be used for residential?
No. Commercial.
That's commercial.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when you want a diesel generator, there's a lot of EPA and paperwork that goes involved with the safety of that storage for diesel. So if you don't want to go down that road and it's a new building, you can get a 600 volt 3-phase gas.
I'm not talking about commercial though. I'm talking
about commercial.
Oh, I'm just talking about like federal, like any federal building. And I don't know if it's provincial too, but they at one point, I'm pretty sure it still exists. You had to use diesel. You had diesel. I've never installed one. My last certification course. That's what I was working on. I was working on a diesel, and like just learning all the benefits about them. They're good for farms too, because guess what farms
They're
always
workhorses.
have? Dyed diesel,
all diesel.
cheap diesel.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can see that.
the only problem is a lot of farms are on, say, green belt or whatever, and you know what I mean.
Good luck getting that approved and certified.
Yeah.
They don't. Once you spill diesel,
You're done.
you know. What I
Oh,
mean?
the cleanup. I know in
No.
Toronto, most of the commercial ones are all gas.
Yeah.
Like not natural gas, like actual gas.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember when they had the power outage, man, I spent the whole day going back and forth, just filling up cans and going to different buildings. Everybody was in a panic.
Yeah.
I couldn't run out of fuel.
Yeah.
It was a gravy job for the day.
Tyler,
but-
are you interested in hooking up a generator? Or are you intimidated by hooking up a generator?
Don't be intimidated.
I mean,
Don't.
it seems a bit intimidating. to
No,
be
but
honest,
naturally you will be, but I'll tell you, just keep going.
But are there a lot of cowboys?
Oh yeah.
90% Cowboys.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to figure out.
But this is why
93%.
okay. But this is why, like, I know Pat, and if I have a Generac problem that I'm going to be servicing, because I just had a customer 2 weeks ago that has a Generac, and he's like, I want you to install me a Kohler. And I'm like, why? We can get this going again. And he's like, oh, I just had a couple guys come here and say that it's impossible. I'm like, listen, I know this guy from Davidson Electrical. He will get this thing running. I'm not going to let go of a perfectly good generator. Right?
What's the intimidation part on you, Tyler, that you're thinking?
I don't know. Like maybe just not fully understanding how it works, I guess.
Well, that's
It kinda just
electrical in
intimidates
general,
me.
man. That's
Is
the
it
face
the,
that
is
I
it the
I
knowledge?
give,
Is it the
right?
knowledge thing?
Yeah.
So
It might be. Yeah.
so do you understand like cars?
Introducing the new Air-Cooled 26 RCA, the quietest, most powerful, and most durable generator with 109 amps max power on liquid propane. Equipped with the first to market low oil shutoff switch. Kohler is also the first to offer custom color options, allowing you to blend in or stand out with bolder colors and camouflage options. They provide high quality power, protecting your electronics from the damages of poor power quality. Plus, Kohler Generators deliver strong maximum power, which means they can handle just about anything, including your washer, dryer, refrigerator, and freezer. Kohler Generators are also fast. When the power goes out, their generators start in as little as 10 seconds, which means you'll be up and running in no time. And every generator they make is built to last and is equipped with a commercial-grade engine. When it comes to reliability, nothing beats a Kohler generator. Get the facts and find your generator at Effect Electric Ltd. and find them on IG at Effect Electric Ltd.
So
Yeah.
believe it or not, and a lot of people don't know this, man, but like up until a generator, I didn't understand a car. It took me a generator to understand a car, right? So basically what it breaks down to is, and I can actually break it down
It's
for
an
everybody.
engine, right?
All I can break it down for you right now. You hit start, and all you're doing is telling so you have a flywheel. You need to start, let's work in reverse, sorry. So you need to turn that rotor for that stator to create magnetic lines of flux to power up the generator. So everybody knows that the alternating thing, the alternating current sine wave, well, actually, that is actually a circle, and it represents the stator, okay? You need to turn that rotor, okay? How do we turn the rotor? We connect it to the crankshaft, have pistons going. So we need to fire those pistons. We have spark plugs. You need to turn that. What do? We have a flywheel. You have a starter connected to a battery. You hit start button. It hits that starter, throws the flywheel, starts igniting, starts using magnetos to ignite those spark plugs, firing those things, and turning the baby maker. Okay?
Okay.
And that's basically how a generator works. And then that stator, off the stator, you'll have you'll have 2 power lines in your neutral center tap. Just like you would go into off a transformer into a house. And all you have to do is turn that stator at the so for them, for most generators, it's 3,600 RPM, depending on how many poles you have. And that's all you have to do. Every generator, doesn't matter the name or whatever,
they do the exact same thing.
you have
It's
to
the same
do.
concept. Yeah.
Okay.
So all I got out of all of that was Magneto and Captain America. That's all I got out of that.
But he brings up a good point. The best natural born person, if they want to get into generators, is a mechanic.
Mechanic.
Yeah.
Like if you want to switch careers and go from mechanic to a jetter, very easy for them.
Problem because of the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a lack of good generator electricians out there?
Yes. There's a lot of installers, and that's where it ends.
But to be a good generator installer,
You need experience and
but it's
time.
also attached to the servicing of it and
Yes.
the understanding
Yeah.
of it, right?
Yeah.
Well, both of us go out of our ways to be updated on the newest brands, the newest motors, the
Is there
newest
constant
service.
training going on? Constant, right?
Kohler's is mandatory. If I were to fail training this year, they take my dealership license away.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
See, I can see
Every
that.
year we got to do research.
I can see that. 25 years in the trade. 20 of those 25 has been commercial, and I've never worked on a generator other than tying on the ATS. Fire alarm points, automatic recall for elevators, but I've never gotten my hands in there. I've done testing of the generators. I've done load test on generators, and I've checked the batteries, the fluids in the batteries, gas levels, you know what I mean, shit like that. But
Yeah.
that's just part of the fire alarm, for instance, when you have to go and do a generator test.
Yeah, but even like
that's it.
Even the transfer switches, when you open up a Kohler compared to a Generac, they're completely different. They do the exact same thing,
Right.
but when you initially look at it, you can kind of relate,
Yeah.
but you still have to
I
be
know,
trained
but it's
in
like
to hook up
Yeah.
a Kohler
Ford,
transfer.
I'll
Dodge, GM, they're the same
Yeah.
thing.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you this. There's a lot of them that I touched that if I didn't have the schematics,
No, you have to have this.
I will be like, no.
Yeah.
I've known a few, my career, maybe 2 guys that without the schematics, they were able to do it. I'm like, okay, well, you guys been doing this forever, and you guys worked with this stuff prior to that. One
But-
guy used to commission this stuff. So sure, he comes in, he's like, oh, that's right here. Or like, where? How do you know? What are you talking about, right?
It comes back down to that the guy that made so much money for not knowing where to hit the hammer. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
So-
yeah.
But as long you keep on doing it and doing it and doing it, that's like what I said. Like
Experience.
when I first started in like 2014 with a generator, I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought I was in over my head, and then I was just like I went to do my first air cooled training. I got some knowledge, and I was just like, but there was stuff that would break down on it that I wouldn't understand or whatever. So you just sit there and you learn and stuff. You're
But
paying.
you're not going to get all of it at one time.
Yeah, you
right?
know,
It's gonna
you
take time,
100%.
It takes time.
Yeah.
But like you have to be, it goes towards any trade, even electrical or plumbing. Right? You have to love what you do in order for you to put in that effort.
Right.
The problem solved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we get excited when someone says I'm throwing on my old generator, and I'll call him and be like, let's take it apart and bring it home.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you know that it's not dead.
Well,
Yeah, like, so-
not only not dead. Let's see how it works back in 1975.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So the one that I'm taking out next, I told him, I'm like, it's a Generac. It's from the late 70s. We're gonna take it apart.
Yeah.
Grab a couple beers.
Yeah.
Right.
That thing, you have to go service one of those, and you come with that little hammer, and you know exactly where to hit.
But
I
that's how you learn.
got in my
That's
garage.
how you learn.
I got a 14 kilowatt right now. I broke down, rebuilding it, and then I just need to get a controller and a field boost diode for it. Then I'll probably load test it and probably sell it. So, and I got that for free. There was the last generator I got. They dropped, like, it sounds bad, but they dropped it off the back of a truck, like literally dropped it off the back of the truck, smashed some parts.
DHL for sure.
Buddy of mine called me up. He's like, they're like, everybody said that it's fucked. You want it? And I'm like, sure. They brought it to my house. I think I spent maybe 3 hours on it and like a couple, I don't know, maybe $350 in parts. Sold it for $3,500.
Easily all day long.
You know what I mean? Like,
How many
and-
service calls have you gone to where the customer says, I've already had 2 guys here or 1 guy here and they can't get it going, and then you go there and all it was a battery, spark plugs, and oil.
I get it, but okay. So for any homeowners that are listening, or any other
Maintenance is
younger
key.
trades that are listening, they think, "Oh wow, it's such a windfall! You made so much money." No,
No.
There was skill attached to your decision making on what you knew how to problem solve to fix it.
Yeah.
that's what happened.
So here's the flip side to that. I went to do a service call one time on a generator where I smoked an $1,100 controller. That came out of my pocket. That's $1,100.
And that's how you learn too.
was
That's
it a Friday?
Was that?
Was it a Friday?
No, it was a very cold day.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Lesson learned, though.
That came out of my pocket. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you're not, I think with everything, I don't even care if it's electrical, if it's plumbing, if it's this, if you're not willing to learn and you're not willing to pay to learn, you're never going to be at that.
You're
that
not going
upper
to
echelon.
evolve.
You know what I
You're
mean?
not going to evolve in your
Yeah,
trade, in
you're
your
never
field,
gonna get-
whatever that field is.
Like if
you
all
won't.
you're coming to work for and all you're coming to work for is all you want to do is get a paycheck and put the paycheck in the bank and you know go do stuff on the weekend and forget about your job, and you don't want to learn your trade to better and help your customers, like you should be bettering yourself to help every customer out there. If you're not doing that, you know what I mean, what are you doing?
Above code would be nice.
Yeah,
just
but
had that
code is
discussion.
designed a certain way, so then there's work out there for everybody.
Yeah. But I can see how it can be intimidating for anybody that hasn't have.
But there's
that
always a
much
first
experience
time
with
for everybody,
generators.
right? Like it's
Yeah.
even the first time I did one, or I didn't do it, I supervised one because I'm not allowed to do them, right? But I was intimidated when they were
Yeah.
cracking it open and putting it together.
But
and
if
I
you're
was-
amazed by it, you're going to learn pretty
I
quick.
was
You
interested
gotta get in there
it,
like
right?
a dirty
Yeah.
shoe. Like
Yeah.
if you're like, oh wow, okay, I like it, I want to learn.
We bounce ideas off of each other all the time just to compare the different brands.
Oh, not only that, so one of the things that you'll see, like there's small groups of guys, like I have Carlo for like Kohler, I have another buddy of mine, Ernie, for Cummings. If I come into a problem and all of a sudden I'm like, this won't start up with this fall code, what is it doing? And it's doing this and doing that. Sometimes a quick phone call, and he might not even solve the problem, but we'll talk about it. And just as a sounding board, I'll be like, okay, I just fixed this. I'll talk to you later. Bye. You know what I mean? Like,
Because you gave me an idea.
yeah, and it's
Fresh
just,
eyes.
Right.
yeah, and it's just like, you know what I mean? He might just, oh, did you look at the air filter or something like that? I was just like, oh yeah, I didn't. You know what I mean? It's just a sounding board. Sometimes when you're talking it out loud, you might just solve your problem.
Or there's like a common nuisance of a year of a brand
Yeah.
that I know that he didn't.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Are you guys in? Oh, I want to ask you first question about what's the best fuel for generators?
propane
Propane.
Propane.
burns the hottest.
Well, as far as what though, like,
Well, but I guess my question is more: what's the best fuel for generators so then it could last the longest and be the most efficient? Diesel.
As far as like,
But you can't do diesel
so-
in the city.
Not only that, but like
Not
nobody.
homes.
So like, let's just say a 20 kilowatt. I don't know what Kohler is, but 20 kilowatt Generac diesel. That generator's like 30 grand
Because it's diesel.
Because it's going to last.
standalone. It's a standalone system.
Yeah.
You don't need you don't need a fuel source. You just fill it up. That's it. And if you're agricultural ticket, like if you have your agricultural license, you get cheap diesel.
But then if you're in the city, you're forced to go natural gas.
No.
Yeah.
So
No, you can go propane?
You still have the option to do propane, but now you got to worry about the tanks,
Yeah.
right?
Same as the batteries, you got to store
yeah,
them
so-
properly, right?
Like you could still do like he's saying, you could still do that like liquid propane, but when you live on a postage stamp, are you going to be so many feet away from your neighbor, so many feet away? You know what I mean?
You have enough storage. Like you can only hold so much tanks for longevity. Natural gas is very convenient.
And you want to look outside, you want to look at the back of your yard and see the big torpedo.
Is that what it comes down to, the convenience of it? Because you have it right there. Just extend the line to your Jenny and you're good.
If your generator wants to run for a month on natural gas, it can stop it, do its maintenance, and start it up again.
Right,
With propane,
right.
you're only as good as the tanks that it can hold.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Sound wise, who's got the quietest?
Recently, Kohler's
Kohler's.
26s.
20. So 26 is what? How
Oh
many?
no, the 26 RCA
Yeah.
version.
What's
That's-
the dB on it?
53 on propane.
Okay, so
58 or
let's
53?
I'm trying to figure out my math from some of the safety shows, right? The sound of a circular saw is what dB?
Oh,
I think it's like 80 dBs or something. So a generator Kohler is what, 50 something, 50, 60?
for the 26.
For the
new
26.
26 on propane is 53 or 58.
So the generator is going to be quieter than a battery powered skill saw.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, for
That's not a
fire
problem.
alarm, for instance, if you live in a condo, you have to have a mini horn, right?
Yes. Oh, you're over
Your
100.
generator is quieter,
Quieter. Yeah.
than that mini horn that's this
But
big.
the standard, like a Generac is what 63?
Nowadays it's 58. 50. I haven't looked at this.
Yeah, but it's
Wow.
close. Like you're in the low 50s, low 60s now,
Wow.
right? But if
Why
the power's out, why would you care?
But if
Your neighbors.
Yeah,
are
I was
gonna
just
care.
gonna say that your neighbors are the ones that are gonna care.
and that's when you show them the ESA certificate saying that I'm allowed to have it running.
out of every generator out there, if you're including portables,
Oh, portables are way louder.
no,
Yeah.
hands down, Honda inverter.
Oh yeah, quiet as a mouse.
That thing, honestly, that thing you can put a teaspoon of
Any
gas
inverter.
in there
Any
and run it for a week.
Yeah,
Yeah, the inverters are quiet, but the
Very
inverters tap out at a certain
And you
amount
just
of
gotta
wattage.
you just gotta
Lots
look
of
at
money.
like how much
Yeah,
casing is around
175
there.
watt.
Yeah,
Like how much casing is around that engine.
that's why
right?
it's quieter.
Yeah, so if you have foam and stuff
Muffler.
like that. So
The
one of
muffler
the,
matters.
and one of the things I would encourage, like if anybody's listening to this, I would encourage you not to
There's
do.
like 3 people.
Don't go and shove insulation in your generator.
yep.
To make-
No, people
yeah,
do
really?
that.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit.
I've seen spray foam.
no.
No,
gotta make it quiet. Do you know people? Some people too. They put them inside, and you're not allowed to.
Inside their sheds.
Yeah,
I've
you're
seen-
not
I've
allowed
seen-
to have it
I've
inside
seen
anywhere.
People put it inside a garage.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Hey, but all this
That's very
installation, all
dangerous.
the spray foam, that's just job security for you guys, no?
Job security for me is when they don't listen and they put it in the woods. When they put it in like treed areas.
Oh, that
I can-
shit gets in there.
Not only that is rodents love generators.
Yeah.
That's a nice warm spot for them, and they build
Rolling?
it.
Oh, rodents.
Rodents! They
Oh, okay,
just
okay,
love
okay.
chewing on wires,
Oh boy.
Yeah.
and that's where you get to go rewired and stuff.
And that's actually one of the biggest things I find with guys who install them wrong. The simplest thing is putting in those caps that all generators come with
Yeah.
to stop rodents from going inside.
Yeah.
They never put them in.
forget to put them
Face-
in.
And then
Fascia,
1
put a
year later,
fascia.
we get a call,
Hey.
and it's like, hey, my generator stopped working.
You taking notes? We gotta make sure we put those caps on, bro.
But those are the little things that matter.
Well, I can
Very
see that.
important.
Yeah,
Well, because it's ironic that this device is designed to last a long time to serve a purpose, right?
Yes.
Proper maintenance, it'll last a very long
Yeah,
time.
and that's what it gets to. It gets to the maintenance part of things. If you're not maintaining it, well, just like a house, man, it's the same thing.
That's what I tell them.
People think you get a brand new house and everything is like perfect. It
just like a
doesn't
house.
work
Just like a house. Picture it like this: it's a car.
It is.
It is your
literally
car.
is a car.
So just like a car, you hit that gas, engine revs.
Right.
You know what I mean? You hit that governor on there. Like if you go out to like a stepper motor and pull that, it's gonna rev just like your car. And you're gonna be burning oil, fuel, whatever. You know what I mean? You need to maintain this. You need to
Right,
keep your air filter clean.
Once a
you
year.
know?
And I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to a service call and I'm like, when was the last time you got this serviced? And they're like, never.
I didn't know it needed.
Never.
I didn't know it needed to be serviced.
Yeah.
it's
And then I
got
go
gas.
there, no oil. No
the
oil.
future.
Oh my god.
Everything in a
It's
house.
a very
needs to be-
expensive investment for you not to spend like a 1 year maintenance should cost between $250 and $350. That's it.
That's not bad to kind of have that peace of mind. You know what I mean?
So I'm curious about where do you price wise start, or where should homeowners start price wise? Because most
Brands-
people,
What
Brands
is
are different.
a budget?
yeah, like where's their
So,
budget for a standby generator?
I always tell people like because I just to tell you a little story is I went to do a generator quote one day, and I told the guy as I was leaving, I go, I'll get a price for you soon. Just kind of expect to be between like 12 and 13,000. This was pre-COVID.
That's a fair price.
Wait, this was
Pre-COVID.
This was pre-COVID.
Big difference.
Okay,
Here
told
we
the guy
go.
that.
Big difference.
And this was years ago too. And then as I was walking, he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I thought it was gonna be like I don't know, $3,000." And I was just like, "I can't buy the generator for $3,000."
yeah, we're not talking about an entire
So
portable generator.
nowadays, before I go to look at the quote, we always preface it by saying budgetary number 50 site. Not seeing anything. Be like roughly $15,000. Are you okay with that number? If you're not okay with the number, I ain't coming out. If you're okay with the number, I'll come out and talk to you. And then it might, and I tell them it might be higher, might be slight. Like the cheapest one I've done lately was about, I think it was about $13,000 or something like that. Only because,
for the unit,
and only
No,
because
for everything.
for everything.
and only because I was able to do it that way, only because the generator was right, the gas was right there, the hydro was right there.
Everything was
and
where
it
it's supposed to be.
already on a concrete, it was already on a concrete walkway.
Yes.
So all I basically did was shove it in there, boom, it connected it all, and that was
You
it.
will not find it properly installed and commissioned for under 13.
Yeah.
And
So
what size was that?
That was a 22.
Oh, that's pretty good, actually.
So that's a rarity, and I even told him, I'm like, this is probably the cheapest generator I've done in a long time.
I can't-
But because you had everything.
Everything
right
was there.
The
right
cheapest
there.
I could probably go is 16 for a 22.
So you guys bring up that, and it's a really good point to note, like with homeowners and even other trades, to understand that the gas where it's supposed to be.
Same side as the hydro.
Yeah, where the hydro is supposed to be. And I know that you like putting it, which I think is smart, putting it where the actual meter base is.
Yeah.
And then building it from there into the home, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, the two that I did was always in the backyard, which never made any sense to me.
No, because then you got to run all that cable and everything. What I'm
We
doing
ran
is
the tech
literally-
cable through the whole house.
Yeah,
and
that's
trying
not
to-
cheap.
It's not.
No,
it
no.
just added more cost. But my concern was that when we started self-testing it, you're in the backyard. What if you want to just chill out outside for whatever reason?
But what if like that side where the meter base is on, their bedroom's right there, and
Yeah, it
running
changes things, different-
running all
True.
night,
different
you know what I
things.
mean?
True.
So, and you're also supposed to look at like the location of like where operable windows and doors are and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You like
5 feet.
Are you guys 5 feet too?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 5 feet. So 5 feet from operable.
Why not
windows
just park it behind the shed? Or it's just the cost of the tech cable to get to it?
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
The other thing too is you have to look at too, and especially in Canada, you don't have to do this down south. How much snow accumulates there? That's one of the most. So one of the biggest questions I ask
Good
is
point.
when I'm planning out where I'm going to put the generator. I ask
Didn't
them
even
when,
think about that.
where
That's true.
like how much snow comes here and like how much do you get battered with a snowdrift? I have 2 customers and it's forever happening because they won't listen to single thing I say.
Surprise,
So
eh?
when you're looking at any generator, the right side from the front on, the right side of it is your intake. If you were to pile a bunch of snow there and it gets warm and it starts melting, it's pulling moisture into the air filter, and then the cold air when it shuts down, the cold air freezes. If that air filter gets cold, like frozen,
Which it does all the time.
it will shut down
Yeah.
because you need to.
Well, the same way a furnace does when the filter's clogged.
Yeah, you need 2 things. You need fuel and air to run that engine.
Yeah.
But do these generators, again, pardon my ignorance, but home generators that haven't done many, do they not come with a heater on them? Like a
Not the air
commercial?
filter. Not the air filter.
No, but even if it did,
Uh-huh.
you can't cross your T's and dot your I's. It just takes a little bit of maintenance, right?
Right.
You need to know I tell our customers, whenever we have a big snowfall, which isn't that often lately,
No.
but whenever just grab a shovel and shovel the snow on the one side. That's all you got to do.
Fuck, that's too much, man.
Right?
No, for a homeowner, it is too much.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I'm saying. For a
a good-
homeowner is not going to want to spend.
Okay, then get a
13,
heating
15
pad
Gs.
beside it.
a good way to get around it. We keep suggesting. I don't know. I could care less if they do it, but we keep suggesting is right beside it on the right side where your intake is, maybe like a 2-3 feet off the generator. Install some shrubs.
Right.
And
right.
it'll
to
hopefully
block it
stop
off
that
a bit,
snow.
yeah.
Hopefully stop that snow, and what I mean, you won't get it, but
Why not build a little canopy over it, like a few feet above it, so a little
You can.
awning or
Yeah,
something?
you can.
you just can't enclose it.
No, you can't. I'm just saying a canopy, so then when it does snow, it doesn't block that
Yeah.
area, kind of. But then I guess you're adding
The only
more
thing
attention to it.
The only thing is too, it's like you can't predict the weather. So what if the snow's coming head on, right?
Sure.
So you can do it. You can do everything preventative. You can, but in the end of the day, like I don't know.
It takes a little bit of common sense, a little bit of maintenance.
Let's talk about a little bit. Clearances. Like electrical wise, you guys all have these clearance rules, right? Of certain things can't be certain places.
Well, that's
distances.
Back to the manufacturer too, though.
Okay,
So-
so you got to listen to the manufacturer, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going?
I was gonna say because I had I made a note here. I did a little bit of homework. And, sometimes you do it right.
Yeah.
And Generac, correct me if I'm wrong though, but as long as you have an 18-inch minimal
Yeah, 18
distance, and then 36 around. So if I
Yeah.
install it against this wall, I need to have it 18 inches away,
Yes.
and then 36 all the way around.
Yes.
Okay.
And then 5 feet from any
Any-
operable
any
window
opening.
or door.
Okay.
Minimum
So-
5 feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what you don't want to do, so say the left side of it now.
Yeah.
If you look and you see like a furnace intake there,
10 feet.
do not put it there.
10 feet.
10 feet.
10 feet.
I didn't know.
That's because of the
I just-
generator fumes.
I
and
wouldn't
all
put.
that, right?
Yeah. Because
Even your propane tanks, as much as it's nice to have the electrical and the gas on the same side, the propane tanks, the release valve has to be 10 feet away from the generator.
Yeah.
What did you say the distance from the house? 18 inches?
So it's 18
inch.
from the house and 36 all the way around.
Yeah.
Minimum.
That's the minimum.
Yeah, that's
right?
the minimum.
So
But
how does that
that's
work if you've got a Toronto house and you want to put it on the side and you only have 4 feet?
That 36, by the way, is only for working clearance. It's the same thing as a meter for electrical. It's only working clearance.
So, but if you only have 4 feet on your side of your house,
Yeah, you're gonna lose a walkway.
yeah,
I was
because
gonna say if it happens to be in a walkway, you're losing.
But
it
if you
at
put
that
it, if
point.
you have a fence line there, it won't work there. It won't pass there.
It will.
No, it'll still pass.
It'll
No,
still
I thought
pass.
if you have a fence there, so
Oh.
you need 18 inches behind the unit, then the unit itself is what, 2 feet or so?
Yeah.
Then you need 3 feet in front of the unit.
But that's working clearance. That's basically that 3 feet is a recommendation the generator will still function properly. Here's the only thing is
The 18 inches is more important than the 3 feet.
Got it.
So Kohler says you need 3 feet all around, right? So Carlo goes there, and all of a sudden, it's a warranty thing, right? He has every right to say, and warranty only applies till it's properly installed and properly maintained. That's not properly installed.
And that's what the commission's about.
Got it.
So like a lot of guys.
So-
I have one generator as service. That chain link fence for the oil filter is this far. I actually have a picture of myself shoved up against the chain link fence trying to change this oil filter, and then I get an imprint on my face.
So if I pop my generator 18 inches from the wall,
Yep.
I can get a commission, not a problem.
Yes.
Because I have my 18 inches clearance and I
Yes.
have nothing around for 36.
Yes.
Yep.
Got it.
But then another thing to notice, the number one mistake of the install is the way that the gas is run.
Meaning?
So Kohler has a spec, completely different from Generac.
Okay.
Generac's a lot more forgiving when it comes to the way that the gas is hooked up.
Okay.
Kohler is very specific.
In the gas.
The size of the pipe and how it's ran.
So the size of the unit determines exactly the size of the pipe and how it's going to. So when
Yeah,
you're saying
so-
how it's run, like it's got to be a hard pipe or is it still flexible pipe?
No. If it's more than 50 feet, you have to run a 1 inch. Generac doesn't have that.
What is it, 3/4?
Probably 3/4. You can get away with 1/2 inch for a lot
Well,
of
it
scenarios.
depends how like the piping how it's done too.
Yeah,
Like
but
if every time you use a 90, it counts as 2 feet.
It counts as 8 feet for Kohler.
8 feet.
8 feet.
Shit.
Counts as 2 feet.
So so as soon as you leave the gas meter,
Yeah.
and we don't hook up the gas because we're not TSSA,
Right. We don't have G
but
licenses. Yeah.
a guy who's been installing nothing but Generacs, I make sure I'm there when he's hooking up the Kohler because we always get into it where he remembers the Generac rules. And I'm like, no, it doesn't apply to the Kohler. It's 8 feet for every 90. And, you jump at a meter, 90, 90 down, 90. That's 3 90s just to leave the meter.
Wow.
So you only went 20 feet, but because of all the 90s, you're past your 50 feet. You got to up the size of the pipe for a 1 inch.
Is this all stuff that you're picking up during
Training.
training, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I know. So if you call another electrician who isn't certified, a direct dealer, Generac or Kohler, he doesn't know this stuff. So what I always see is, the generator's hunting. That's usually a sign that the gas is not
Okay,
enough.
but let's just say you call me.
You pay us to commission it.
Right. But if the gas guy fucked up the gas line,
You got to
that's
call him
not on
back.
me.
No, but you got to call him back and fix it or we won't commission it.
Okay, got
But
it.
who hired the gas guy?
Homeowner.
Yeah,
So they-
friend, whatever.
Any
It
gas,
doesn't
I'm
matter.
gonna call the gas guy. Now the
He's
gas
still
guy
gotta come back and fix it.
doing pool heaters or a barbecue in the deck, so he's
Yeah.
just gonna come with the normal shit that he does. A
Kohler's-
barbecue
So
for.
a lot of times, like you go commission a generator, you go start this thing up, and all of a sudden you realize, it can't start up. You put your manometer on it, and you realize your static pressure to your running pressure is way out of whack.
Right.
So you realize that the pipe size was wrong. Okay. So you're left with telling the homeowner, listen, this won't start up because of your gas,
Which
because
happens
of the
all the
gas
time.
guy.
Yeah.
So get him
I can
back
see
here.
that happening
Oh,
often. That's why I
it
asked.
does happen often.
Yeah.
Where residential gas fitters, I think they lose what they're doing is because they're relying. If you look at every appliance you have, like your gas range, your furnace or whatever, your on-demand water heater, you're relying on the pressure of the town, your city pressure, town pressure, to push that fuel to that appliance. When you look at a generator, the reason why they're wanting it connected first in line before any other appliance, because once that starts up, that's creating a vacuum and pulling fuel into it.
So you want to hook it up before anything else. then.
Yes.
Got
It has to be a
Because-
direct feed to the meter.
Because if it's on the back end of it too, it'll blow out your pilot lights.
Yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you guys run into this. I know that you have talked about it before. I believe But there's a lot of homeowners that do their own gas, whether we agree with it or not.
But I won't commission it.
They want it done. So you wouldn't commission if a
Well,
homeowner
according to
did
the
it.
TSSA,
No, because I know it's not going to run properly.
but they're allowed to do it.
yes,
that-
but
Yeah.
I tell the homeowner, call somebody else because I'm not commissioning. Because if I commission it, I'm taking responsibility.
True,
The moment
you own
that you
it, yeah.
commission.
And I already know that the way it's hooked up, it's not going to run properly. Right? It comes with a half-inch flex hose, so I always get.
So
this
I'm
from the
curious,
gas guy.
why has Kohler gone above him?
Oh, that's just the way that what their engines need to run properly.
Okay. Efficiently and last longer.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of it, right?
But there is a specific way to hook it up.
T, you taking
And-
notes?
And like the,
Yes.
the nipple, the nipple on a 20 kilowatt is still half-inch. So I always get the nipple's half-inch, so we can run a half-inch line. No,
Oh, that's a lovely argument with
No.
plumbers, man, when you
the
start
spec
talking about flow. and
It
stuff.
comes with a half-inch rubber hose that's supposed to be connected first, and then you can do your 90s.
Rubber. It's not even like a flex line?
Yeah,
or
the
anything?
Yeah,
flex
flex.
hose.
Oh, okay,
The flex
okay,
hoses. That's supposed to be connected first,
Right.
and then you can do your 90s. You know how many times I've walked to a generator and there's a 90 coming right out of it?
Oh, shit.
I got a question for
What,
you
you
guys.
guys have your flex hose connected right before?
Yeah.
I always tell them to put a sediment trap on mine before they do that.
No, they have that.
Can you guys add exterior heating elements for driveways onto the generator?
What do you mean for?
Because they consume a lot of gas.
Like a heat trace cable? You're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah. You're
Depending on what the kilowatt rating is, right? Like if your kilowatt rating on your, say you had like a 24 kilowatt heating system on your driveway, and you have a 22 kilowatt.
I don't even know
generator.
what the. So what is the power? I know that the gas consumption for those things is insane to keep things heated.
Most driveway heat now is
It's
all
all
glycol.
pretty damn
It's all
good.
glycol.
but it's all like 1 inch line that you got to
But
run.
it's all glycol, and all you're doing is running
motor.
a motor with gas.
That's
so
all
it really
is.
doesn't really matter.
So you're not really running a lot of power on that
No.
then.
It's just like it's a recirc pump on it.
I told you your primary reasons is based on your how many furnaces and how many AC units.
That's it.
That's
So the two
not
extremes.
That's it, but that's,
the two extremes of weather.
Yeah,
Because hydro AC kicks in,
and then
sucks a lot of power.
And then if you have a hot tub, that matters.
Got it. And
Like
then you
this-
get into the world of EVs.
Yeah,
If you have Geo, you're basically you're liquid cooled right away, hands down, no matter what.
but the motors for Geo are crazy. The-
Yeah.
the
There's
amount
a
of power
surge.
consumption.
Yeah, there's a huge power.
And then you have
consumption.
duct heaters and stuff like that for that.
So
You're
then
lit-
you start getting into load control modules.
Got
Right.
it.
So if you have to answer your past question, you can put a 26 or a 20 air cooled, as long as you have a load control module that will control if there's power available, it will turn on your dryer. If it's not, it won't.
Is it dramatically different, the air cooled and liquid cooled,
Yeah.
regarding heat? Because from my knowledge about liquid and air cooled is I run a 99 Monster that's air cooled. And if I'm stuck in traffic, my thighs are burning, right? If I'm moving, then the air is cooling me down, right? But with the generators, there is a dramatic difference that
Yes.
there's a huge
and
difference, right?
and a liquid cooled. By the way, tell your customer this: a liquid cooled will always last longer.
Yeah.
Really, eh?
Well, that's why they cost 30 grand.
Yeah.
They'll always last longer. So I'm bringing one back to up in Creemore. They said they've never heard this generator run before, so I got it running, but there's a couple more parts that I had to order in and stuff like that. This thing is 1995. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's an old guy, but it's liquid cooled and it's got I think 800 hours on it, and it still runs like a top. You know,
Barely
what I mean?
ran.
Yeah.
What's that?
Barely ran.
I was going to say
Considering the
800 hours. doesn't seem
800
that
hours.
much.
Considering the
Okay,
age.
but that brings me to maintenance now, right? So you
That-
obviously it does its self testing, right? So it does every unit. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. It's once a week. It does a self test, right?
Well, you can change that.
you can change it to
But
bi-weekly,
should
monthly.
But should you?
No.
No.
You should run it.
We're gonna agree. We're gonna disagree.
Yeah, we're going to disagree
So,
on that one.
I would say in the summertime, yes, change it. And depending, okay, so if it's natural gas, don't worry about it. Don't change it. But if you're
Once a week.
But if you're liquid propane in the summertime, change it to once a month because you want just to save fuel consumption.
Yeah,
And then
but
you guys have to come and do
so
that.
we kind
Like
of
the
agree.
homeowner wouldn't
I
be
say in
able
the
to do
summertime
it.
go bi-weekly.
Oh, really?
In
Okay.
the wintertime, definitely every week.
The wintertime, hands down.
And then what else?
We'll agree with that.
So you got to do routine inspections. You got to do oil changes. You got to do battery checks. You got to do load
That's on your yearly.
testing. You're doing all that stuff, right? So
Yearly.
that's a service call for you guys to come out. How often?
So residential, you're not you're not doing load testing every time you go out there.
I was just gonna ask you, how often would you do a
So
load test on a
residential, every annual is like a typical annual for me is go out there, update the firmware, or I know Kohler's good with this too. If you're connected to internet, then they're updating their firmware all the time. Generac, same thing. If you're updated, they're updated if you're connected. So you're updating the firmware. You're doing air filter, spark plugs, valve lash adjustment, oil filter, oil change,
Checking brushes.
checking the brushes, pull the battery out. Test the battery. After 4 or 5 years, you're changing that battery.
I do it in 3.
3.
Yeah, after
So-
3.
I mean, the
just
cost
do
of the
it.
battery, and,
$190.
yeah, compared to the cost of the unit, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
So and that's probably about your yearly service. And I know we keep talking about pricing and stuff like that. And I'm
Yeah, he's too low, I think.
Yeah.
when we talk about pricing.
well, when it comes to servicing,
Yeah.
What are you guys on servicing pricing wise? Are you guys low,
For-
medium, just for service?
For a generator?
No, just to come in and I guess do.
Oh, just come in. I will say above average.
Okay.
Like, I mean, we're not the lowest, but we're definitely not the highest. I've heard guys are like, whoa, that's pretty high. And I'm
So
like,
for like
I
an-
want to get there.
So for an annual service for me to come out, so we try to arrange it so that we have pockets so that I'm going to here to here to here to here. We used to be, for the longest time, we used to be 260.
Insane. Too low.
nothing.
Yeah.
To me, that's
like
nothing.
that's your hour minimum just to come
Well,
out.
that's
like
me to do
that's
an
a
annual
service call.
That's for me to do an annual service on that.
So
Oh,
you
for
used
an
to be
annual
that.
service.
Yeah, and then we kind of bumped it up. We're above 3 now. We're
yeah,
trying,
you're there
We're
for
trying to
a
get to
little bit.
Which is good.
350. We're trying to get to 350.
350.
Because if you when you do this often, you can do about 3 a day. So because of that, like we charge $357.
Dude, I'm throwing. So that's why I think I'm a bit cheap.
Okay, 2.
I'm doing like maybe like 5-6 a day.
Yeah, no, he's
Depends
nuts.
on where they
But
are
I
in the
have
city.
I have an apprentice too, and when we go do an annual service, he's kind of like Johnny on the spot with everything, and it is basically
He's doing Orangeville. I'm doing
yeah.
way
You're
big.
all over the
Way
place.
big.
You're spending more time on the road getting
Yeah.
to the
Oh
house.
yeah, it's like 4 hours of drive.
yeah, that's exactly.
So I'll do
it.
2, 3.
Where I learned my lesson is there was a guy in Toronto, and he asked me to come down to service his generator.
Past the 401. You never go past the
I
401.
drove down there, and I'm just like,
I don't know what
total
that's like.
regret, because I'm like, okay, as soon as I got to Allen Road, I'm like, I'm losing money. I knew that right away. I was
You,
like,
you
I'm
might
gonna-
as well be going
Well, you're
to
coming
like.
from Orangeville, right?
I'm like,
so I
I'm
can
losing
totally
money.
see that.
He got my name from a guy, and he was just like, oh yeah, I heard you're the guy, and I was just like, okay, I'll come down and look at it, and you know what I mean. I tried to tell nobody that I was down in
Well, the
Toronto.
prices, even in the group chats that we're in on Instagram, when we compare prices, Toronto prices are insane.
Oh,
Yeah,
But you know what? In all
insane.
fairness, you have to charge that.
Yeah,
I have an hour minimum
I'm not,
just
I'm
to
not
come
a-
out.
what is your minimum to come out?
Introducing the new Air-Cooled 26 RCA, the quietest, most powerful, and most durable generator with 109 amps max power on liquid propane. Equipped with the first-to-market low-oil shutoff switch, it's the quietest 26 kilowatt on the market with 56 decibel A at exercise. The 89% larger ceramic fiberglass insulated muffler and acoustic foam insulated inlet duct deliver the best sound quality on the market at exercise. Its larger muffler reduces back pressure by 62%, eliminating restrictions in exhaust to optimize pressures for peak performance. Its CH1006 engine with 20% higher compression ratio and variable ignition timing optimized by fuel delivers the most power in its class. It's also equipped with advanced engine tuning with an air cleaner assembly relocated directly over the carburetor, which optimizes airflow to deliver enhanced performance. When it comes to reliability, nothing beats a Kohler home generator. Get the facts and find your generator at Effect Electric, and find them on IG at Effect Electric Ltd.
Average?
Yeah.
You're looking at above 150 just for
And that's
me.
for the two of you.
No, just to come out, just to get in my
Okay.
truck and started.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I need to make you aware of that. Otherwise, I'm not starting my truck. And that's competitive.
So we have like for the electrical side of away from the generator side, for the electrical side, I think they get a $146 bill. I think it works out to 146.
It's about average, yeah. Like I mean, you're looking at anywhere between $150 to $200.
Is that profitable though?
Just
Plus
to come
that?
out with a
Is
vehicle.
that profitable?
Yes, it is.
Cost
but
of your vehicle, cost of traveling, cost of
I
maintenance.
do that separate though. The service call
Yes.
for me is 150 plus travel.
I've learned. I was a superintendent of a building downtown, and I will never forget the door fucked up. And I called a door company, and he said, "Okay, you're gonna get a fully loaded vehicle, so you're paying for the vehicle, and then this is what the service is to come out." I was like, separate. I go, you figure, buddy's coming in a truck, like he's not coming in a bike, he's not taking the fucking bus, right? But no, they charge separate for it.
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? And then the more I talk to people, I'm like, yeah,
I've been doing that for years.
you know what? Really, yeah.
Take it or leave it.
No, where I used to work, it was a 3-hour minimum. You want us to come out, a 3-hour minimum, plain and simple. Otherwise, call somebody else.
Yeah.
But you're talking about a big company. They've been around for years. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, well, I can start with an hour minimum. You want me to come out? And then there's so much every hour.
It just doesn't seem profitable for an hour minimum. Like when I hear about plumbers and what they charge for service calls, and I guess their demands on a service are different. They're saving the day at that point.
Yeah.
So do you think this is
depends what
profitable?
you're doing.
You think this is profitable? $146, and all you just did was go.
Flip a breaker. And that's where we run into the issue.
Me personally, I think it's low.
I agree with you.
You know what?
Yeah.
100%.
Manny-
Professionally
Manny.
and personally,
Manny, we're looking for a bookkeeper at the company.
And that's the problem, right? You get somebody that calls you and you go reset a GFI.
but they're comparing you to Kijiji or Google, and
Yeah.
then
But-
you're like, why are you comparing me to
That is
that
true.
outfit, right? Like I'm not in that class.
Do you do mostly like residential or do you have commercial?
Mostly commercial. I just got into the residential.
Because commercial prices are completely different than residential.
Commercial, I'm
prices.
3-hour minimum, buddy. I'm not coming to your building
Yeah. Okay.
for under 3 hours. That's it. Whether it's electrical or fire alarm.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
They don't care how much it costs. Just please come now.
That's it.
For commercial.
The difference with commercial that I find is that they have the budgets for this. Residential homeowners don't have the budget.
Oh.
Plain and simple.
But a lot of times too,
Try to
like
help out.
commercial, you go in commercial, you're waiting for your money for a while.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna say,
9120.
What's
Yes.
that?
9120.
Yeah, with residential customers, you're getting either paid on the spot, or if you know,
Or you're fighting for
or
it.
if you know them, you're going to be getting paid like a couple days later.
The only residential that we do is generators, services, and EV chargers and hot tubs. That's it.
Nice.
4 things.
That's good.
That's it.
That's good.
The rest is all commercial.
Yeah. See, my commercial is, like I said, 3-hour minimum. And I do a lot of commercial, and it's all 60 days.
Yeah.
So you
I-
force them to get into that 60-day mindset instead of them forcing you to get into the 91-day mindset.
Right. So it's a 60-day. That's what we agreed on. And it works for everybody. It was
Or-
a little tough at the beginning.
Or
I had to make sure I
you can
budget
just do a
properly.
service contract that guarantees you work every month, so it doesn't matter if it's a 90 day. It's just going to keep revolving anyways.
Let me ask
Right.
you guys, business-wise, I get the sense that a lot of electricians that get started in the business, they want to have like a wide reach of everything to see if they can get as much work as possible. You guys correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, you're right.
But I love what you guys are doing. And also, Pato, you did it with the fire alarms and stuff like that. You guys look at your skill and your trade and you're pinpointing it. And
To what
you-
we like.
Yes. And what you can turn into a solid, focused business.
Yeah.
Doesn't that make more sense as a trade?
It does, but when you do that, what you're going to hear is you're doing it wrong.
By whom?
Everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't tell
But
you.
you're
how.
a specialist.
Well,
No,
now,
no
now
different
I
than
know.
a
I'm-
doctor.
I'm
like
talking
they
about
come
the
in and
beginning.
I only take care of this part of the body, right? Like I rather speak to, if I've got a problem with that part of the body, I rather speak to that doctor
Right,
about
right,
it
right.
instead of speak to a family physician
you
about
even
everything.
start second guessing yourself, because I remember year one for me 13 years ago on my own, I had very successful people saying, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to get into subdivisions. Fuck your service calls. And you
I
start-
disagree with that.
Well, but I'm just saying, just imagine you're just starting year one. You decide, I'm going to do what I like and only do it this way.
But if you can perfect your trade in one niche area of it,
Yeah.
can you not make more money that way?
100%.
You hope.
Yeah.
100%.
Not only that, you take your cost of like customer acquisition down because
Good point.
not only that, like so, like let's just say we're all doing different aspects of the trade. Let's just say, Pato, you're
Yeah.
doing fire alarm.
I do IT.
Actually, actually, the perfect example is Carlo does the IT thing. So it's like if I come across like cameras and stuff like that, I'm already like, Carlo, step in, please. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of times if like Carlo comes around the engine side of it, he's like, calls me or whatever. If we know you did distribution or whatever, we can be like, Manny, like this is the guy. And then if you knew somebody was looking for a Generac, you might recommend me.
Of course.
Customer acquisition cost goes right down.
Mm-hmm.
It's very true.
But that's how it should be.
Yeah.
That's how we treat each other.
How are you looking at it, Tyler? How are you? You're getting started in the game, so are you blanketing yourself? You're trying to like, let me get my hands dirty on every little thing to see what I like or to see if I can learn it?
I feel like I just want to learn everything, right? And he tells me that all the time. Like you want to.
But I think every young tradesperson is like that.
Yeah, but the problem is, let's just use the union, for example.
Ugh.
You're going to be changing
Before, instead of the union using you?
Yeah. You're going to be changing. I know, and I'm only speaking based on experience. And guys who I know, they've been changing light bulbs for their whole apprenticeship. They didn't get to experience the
That's
difference
the union for you.
in these three companies.
Listen,
Yeah.
one of the first things I told Tyler is, because he's got some people that he knows that are in the union. We all do. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, everybody knows somebody that's in the union. And I said, listen.
I was in the union. He was
I
in the
was
union.
in the union for 10 years.
We have
You
Amish
start-
friends.
What's that?
Amish friends.
You start in the union, you're doing a 1 year pre-apprentice. That 1 year pre-apprentice, what are you learning? How to get the fucking coffees for everybody.
Yes.
You're not touching a tool in the union for your first year.
You're not touching nothing for 3 years.
That's right. No, you're not touching nothing in the first year. Second year, you're pushing the broom. And the third year, you're getting coffees. And if you fuck up the coffee order, you're dead.
Yeah.
Right? So what do I say to him? I go, listen. I go, you're touching everything.
Yeah.
If we're busy, I kind of kick you off the ladder and I'm taking over because we got to go.
Yeah.
But if there's time,
Learn.
go ahead and do it. Go learn.
Yeah.
If you fuck it up, don't worry about it. I got the time. I'll fix it. But this is how you're going to learn.
Yes.
Right? And I say to him, when you go to school, you're going to blow all those guys out of the water.
And that's when he's going to realize. So
And that's when he'll realize.
the guy that I had for 10 years, I still have him,
Mm-hmm.
Dylan. You know, you can say whatever you want, and he's not going to really take it in until he went to school.
That's right.
Until they go to school and they start asking their fellow peers, what do you do every day? And, I change lights. I do retrofits. And he's just like, yesterday I did a panel change. The next day I did an EV charger. And the next day I did a hot tub.
Yeah.
That's when you're going to start
The
realizing.
amount of shit that this kid has touched,
Yeah.
and his first year and a half is, it blows my mind.
How did you guys, like, did you find him or did you find him?
You want to tell it or you want me to tell it?
Because I honestly believe that.
Does it
I wanna
involve
know.
a sign at the side of the highway?
I said I want my toonie back, dude. Come to work. No, I have a lot of respect for him.
Okay.
And I'll say it. I met him through my daughter, my oldest.
Okay.
Right? And she comes and she's like, listen, he wants to know about electrical. And the reason why I respect him so much, because we spent 1 hour, hour and a half on the phone, give or take.
Give or take.
Nothing but questions. And I was happy to answer them. I'm like, yeah, no, hey, you know, this,
Right,
this,
wrong
and that.
questions in general?
Questions in general
Okay.
in regards of the trade.
Okay.
Right? And then he actually came to see me and we sat down. And I said, listen, if you want to talk more, my door's always open, dude. You come and talk to me. I'll be more than happy to help you out however I can. My man came to see me, spent all that time. Now you tell me what 20-year-old kid. is
Initiative.
You know what I'm saying? What 20-year-old kid, 19 at the time, I think, or whatever.
Yeah,
it was,
19.
Right? Is going to come on a Friday night and sit with an old man like me, shooting the shit for 2 hours about electrical. Right? And I asked him, I go, what about school? What happened with school? I think I mentioned that to you
Yeah, I think
before,
so.
where nobody ever said to him, try a trade.
In
No,
high
but-
school?
No,
No.
it's actually kind of funny because the first time I talked to him about it, like I had, like when I was younger, I wanted to be an electrical engineer. So I kind of like already wanted to do electrical. And I had talked to him one time, like the first time. And I was like, oh, you know, I didn't do good in electrical in high school. Like, you know, like the science class. And he was like, he kind of looked at me like I was an idiot, right? You know what I mean? Like I didn't
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about.
Science class is not home.
And
Innovations or
you're not getting
commercial.
taught properly. One teacher, 30 students.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right? So that's why I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah.
Good luck getting an appointment with the guidance counselor too. Like it's
But
just
that's
Insane.
that's another big problem.
That's right.
You're going to the guidance counselor. She's giving you info that was told to her by the government.
Yeah.
Who doesn't do our job, who doesn't know what road to take. You did it the right way. You went to the source, and he's going to guide you the proper way. Because I'm so tired of running into kids. Oh. I went to trade school, the skilled trades college, and I spent blah, blah, blah amount of money.
Oh, that's such a waste.
Bro.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, I have yet to meet anybody on the show to say that the skills trades of college.
It's a scam. It's a payout scam that the government gives them.
You're taking advantage of people at a certain age.
They wanted to charge him. How much? What?
10
grand. 10 grand for 3 months, right?
And now you're making 10 grand.
A company told me to go there.
Yeah. And the guidance counselors tell the kids, and the teachers tell the kids, and the government gives them cutbacks. How about the government gives us tax breaks, and we'll take them?
That's right. Different. Because I'll tell you this. Before he started with me, I said, listen, you know what? Do this. Don't be afraid to go to companies. Knock on their door, and trust me, you'll earn their respect by doing that. Yeah. Right? If it's the right company.
Initiative.
Right? Because they see the initiative. They see that here's a young kid that wants to try it. So what did he do? He went to a couple of companies. Couple of doors, got shot on his face. Another company said, what, pick up a ladder? You're too skinny. You can't even lift up a ladder or something.
Told me
like
to come
that.
back in 4 years and lift weights.
Yeah. Look at my man today. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, this trade will turn you into a beast, though.
And another company, and this is when he came to talk to me, because he came to ask me what I thought, said, oh, no problem, but go to this school here. And when you finish this, then come and we'll take you on. Well, that school is charging $10,000.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you're not registered. You don't have a job. No, nothing.
Yep.
And what did I say to you? I don't hold back, man. I'm just one of those guys. I don't hold back.
And you shouldn't.
Go tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yep.
You kind of come work with me.
Yes.
But Kate, in all fairness, you're kind of lucky finding him because the majority of kids are not finding use, right? They're not finding.
They're getting.
For my cousin,
wrong
use,
information.
you know what I mean? You can't, yeah.
I get emails, and even though I'm not hiring, I take the time and respond to them.
Yeah, give them suggestions.
Give them suggestions.
At least,
tell them where to go.
By the way,
and I can't tell you how many times they've replied to us. Thank you so much for responding.
The one thing I always tell people looking for an apprenticeship, and I can't, if they tell me, it's always the same thing. Well, I've knocked on every door. I've sent out my resume. Hands down, go to an electrical supplier and get a job there first. You want to become an electrician, go hang out with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll learn the material.
Guaranteed you'll find a job there.
And somebody will pick you up. Somebody, if you know what I mean? If somebody's looking for somebody at that moment and you're looking for an apprenticeship and you put it out there, they will hands down probably pick you because you know what a 30-30 is.
At least you know what else.
You know the material. You took the initiative. Guidance counselors aren't telling them that.
No.
So I tell everybody that go work just get in the industry somehow. Go work for an electrical supplier.
You know what? I think it's a lot on the kids too, because a lot of them want to do it. Yeah. But do you really want to do it, bro? You know what I mean?
Only one way to find out.
Exactly.
So, by the way, Tyler, I'll tell you one thing. One reason why you are very, very lucky too is there's a lot of these kids. They pay the $10,000. They get their pre-apprenticeship, go to school, and one kid actually came to me recently, and I asked him. I basically just wanted to give him an interview, and I said, show me on a meter where you would do this, where you would do it. Dude couldn't even tell me on a meter what volts meant. Yeah. And he's like, oh, they never, and he goes, the teacher never got past, because I asked him, I'm like, do you know what low LV means? And he's like, no, he never got past hertz.
Did he have a scar on his face? The
teacher? So what I'm trying to say is, these kids are paying $10,000, right? Pato is paying you more. Pato is paying you to actually
twofold.
And he is taking his one-on-one time attention. And saying, hey, this is how it works. And you're getting that hands-on, and you're actually, when you do screw up, he's coming in and saying, this is how you screwed up. Sometimes we say it a bit meaner, but you know what I mean?
You're getting to know me.
Yeah. There might be a fucking moron in there or whatever. So, but he's showing you hands-on, whereas and you get to see the problem firsthand instead of being in the class and all of a sudden he gives a lesson and they're like, any questions? And you're like, well, I don't want to put up my hand, so I'm not going to say anything. But you're sitting there next to Pato, and all of a sudden, all those stupid questions you have, they can come out, and who cares?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you're working with them every day, and after time, you just become. I'll be honest with you. So I'm a company where I only have me and my apprentice too, right? You become
it's a family.
Yeah,
it becomes a family.
Yeah,
I need to trust him 100%.
Exactly.
He needs to trust me 100%.
So
It's true, 100%. That's what happens.
That's how you guys are running your business too. You got 1-on-1 kind of thing.
Yeah, I grew up to 16 at one point.
16.
Yeah,
Big,
and
big.
Holy
again,
cow.
you do like some people say it's right or wrong.
Was
To
it
me,
a business or adoption agency? Like,
I had
and then I was down to 3 or 4, and then now I'm down to 1 as of May,
why did you get to 16?
because that's the workload that I had.
That's a big number.
I was
They-
taking on the
once you go
contracts.
10.
I was taking on the contracts that I, my other successful friends, they have 30 guys, 20 guys.
See, I go
right?
back to you guys pinpointing your skills.
Exactly.
And that, like the
I
at the
wasn't
very
happy.
most, I've only had 5 or 6 of one. I don't know. You ask my wife, she'll tell you 6. I think it was 5. But I learned at that moment in my life, this was in my 4th year of business. I learned at that moment in my life that I was never designed to own a company. I was designed to be an electrician.
you're 95% of tradespeople.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was designed to be an electrician. And I'm very fortunate that I have my wife and she does my administration side to it.
Yeah, we all are, brother.
Because I'm going to be honest with you, I would not own a company. And I give a lot of respect to guys like Carlo, because I know Carlo does it Carlo does the business side. He does the service calls.
I do it all.
You know
Oh,
what I
you do
mean?
it
I
all.
don't
Yeah,
find that
admin.
workload
Oh, wow.
too much. You can't stay focused on the site, off the site.
Well, you try to find the balance,
Yeah.
but I do it all.
Oh, shit,
all of
good for you, man. Kudos to you, brother.
But
Well-
all the rules that you got, like the WSIB, all the payroll taxes,
Accountants,
I couldn't
quarterlies,
remember that, man.
payroll.
You know what it is? It's the time. My wife started helping me, and she's been learning how to do the WSIB, paying this, paying that,
Yeah.
permits, and paying all that crap, right? Payroll. She does her payroll, everything. And why? Because she will see me come home from work. I eat dinner.
Yeah.
I have a smoke. I have a coffee, and I'm right back on the computer now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Doing the quoting, setting up the schedule, setting up permits for the next day,
Yeah.
or this, and that, right? So it becomes the line. She's like, holy shit, I got to give you a hand, because if not, you're going to sleep at midnight. And then the next day, 5:30 in the morning, the alarm's going off because you're going to get up and get the fuck out.
But if you love doing it, you won't mind. That too has to take into consideration.
you know why I agree? I disagree with
So
that, brother. Because
Where I got lucky
That's
is
how I
me
feel.
and my wife have been in the same industry now so I've been in this for 23 years. She's been in it for 22.
oh, wow. Okay.
We've always, we originally worked for the same company.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she went on mat leave and I went to go work high rise for a bit, and then I came back, I started my company, and then we've both been just business partners for the last 12
see,
years.
this is a learning period for both of us.
And the beautiful thing is, and a lot of people don't realize this, so I know nothing about our schedule. I know nothing about our quotes. I know nothing about anything.
don't wanna know.
So about 3 years ago, I was going to shut down the company because I was getting really frustrated about, like, always wondering about if I was losing money. So she came and said, okay, I'll take care of a lot of it. So she knows how to quote she knows how to quote basic jobs, and then I'll do some job notes and she'll put it all together and she'll send it to the customer. She deals with my whole schedule. I have it on my phone. Even she's away for a week and she's already set up every job for this week. Wow. And all I have to do is follow this. And we're basically perfectly designed that way that we
Those are
we
goals.
have that.
That's
you know
what
I mean?
we're trying to get to. Those are goals.
See, I disagree with Carlo. The thing is, what if someone were to tell you that you can have more personal time for your family and also for yourself?
I think I have
by being more efficient on the job.
I think I have a pretty good balance. I've been doing that balance teeter-totter for a long time.
You can never have a pretty good job on family time. Like,
No, I know.
You can always
Can do
more.
better.
You can
Always
always
can do
find
better.
See,
more
I
family
find-
time.
Like I'm actually shut down this week, so like I make it a
Which is great.
an
I
annual
love
thing.
seeing
shut
more and
down
more
this week.
trades in the
Nice.
business
And I shut
shutting
down
down
for the
summer
week in
hours.
August.
Nice.
The European
Nice.
way of
Awesome.
doing things, right? I love shutting
1 week,
down.
1 week.
That's it. Simple. You should be doing
Yeah.
that.
And then like so this whole week I'm gonna go to Wonderland with my kids. And,
Nice.
Yeah, do all that stuff.
Nice.
So I mean,
Pick me up on the
give or
way.
take.
Parking
You
is
gonna
very
wire? You gonna wire
expensive.
anything there while you're there?
put my head down.
I bet you any money Carl's going to be looking for the first generator that he sees.
But to go back to the balance part, because I do everything, that's why I pick and choose the jobs.
Yeah, but don't you find it hard? I find that if because you're doing everything, don't you lose the love of it because
No.
it just becomes overwhelming?
No, I think that's what took me a long time to find that perfect balance for
Really?
me. So like I say no to like 70% of my work.
Hey, I'll tell you, I just learned how to say no not too long ago. 'Cause
Congratulations.
I fired my first customer ever, and I'll tell you, I felt fucking great.
Thank you. I know.
It felt great. I was like, I finally learned how to say no.
Yep.
And We're fine. What? You can't do that. Oh no, yes I can.
You
No,
can't
I own the
do
company.
that.
I can do that.
Yes, you
Customers
can.
fire people all the time,
Yes, you
and
can.
now
I
vice
fired a
versa.
few customers.
Really,
More than a few.
really. Fuck,
Yeah.
man. I gotta catch
I
up.
even fired. I even fired one in court.
Really?
Yeah. Wow, I gotta catch up, man. I fired my first customer and it felt great. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like with time, you're gonna find that nice balance where you're gonna know just by the sound of it whether to take on the job or not.
Right.
What's your thought, Tyler, on are you concerned that you're not going to have work, so you don't want to speak to a client a certain way? It's different because you're working for him and with him, right? But eventually at some point, you're probably going to be running your own jobs and dealing with a client yourself directly. And you might have to vet that client and figure out, okay, is this the right client for me?
I'm working on like talking. Like I need to build up my confidence.
Yeah.
So obviously you got to be respectful, obviously, but there is a limit to everything, right? So I definitely have to learn. I definitely have a lot to learn about that, but for sure, I don't know.
One of the things that I've told him, and I make sure that he understands this, and I tell him all the time, I said, listen, I gotta back you up 100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously within reason, but 100%. He's got I have his back. And I say to him, he's very quiet. He's a nice guy, super nice guy and everything. So what was happening with this particular client, for instance, I will leave and they will come. Oh, can you do this? Can you move this?
Well,
Can
they
you
play
do this?
that little game, man.
That little game. So my man here, because of the way he is, you can see clearly, right? Like very nice guy and everything. Okay. And I'm like, hey, how you making out? Oh, I didn't. I haven't done this yet because I had to do this because of blah 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 blah. And I'm like, no, bro, you need to know how to say no. Like, and don't worry about it. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, as long as you're respectful.
Or speak to Pato.
Exactly.
Speak to Pato.
That is the best excuse to use always.
Because I seen that. I seen how it was coming down and I seen what was happening. I'm
Clients
like,
do it, whether they do it
Tyler, the
unconsciously.
best thing you could ever say is no Pablo Inglés. And then grab a broom and sweep up.
that's it. That's
As soon as you grab the broom, they'll realize you're not the
Until you
electrician.
get a Spanish client, right? And then you're like, oh,
You can, Spanish music going on in the background.
no, it's good that you're picking up these are valuable. And the unfortunate thing was we're older, right? So I'm probably I'm older than you, aren't I?
45.
Yeah, I'm older than you. I'm the fucking oldest. I'm older than you, aren't I?
Yeah, you're all older than me. I can tell you that.
What?
Yeah.
You all look
I'm
older than
43.
me.
You're 43?
Yeah.
You're not 43.
I'm 43.
You're 43.
I'm 43, guys.
Oh, man.
And how old are you?
29.
29.
Sorry.
No.
30.
No.
No, I'm 79. What?
Yeah, so you're
No, you're
Yeah,
47.
I am
no,
the
you're
oldest
46.
Who the fuck said 47?
Not me.
I'm the oldest one. But the thing is that you guys, we all have learned experience, like lessons that he's going to learn faster, sooner, and avoid.
Yeah.
Right, which is
Yeah.
great. If you're
So one of the things I'll even elaborate on that. One of the things you will learn quicker for is that one-on-one, because while you're in the truck, guess what you're doing? I guarantee you're taking job notes sometimes. You're listening. You might be listening to a customer he's talking to, and you're like, "That's how I talk to that guy."
Picking it up.
I used to work for a company when I was working in a union called Tron, and the old
Tron.
Tron.
I know Tron.
what?
Really?
Yeah, that's where I started. I started working for Gildo.
They named it after the movie?
No, I don't know what he used to be Weston Electric, and then it was when
Western Electric.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I've heard of them.
yeah,
Like,
and then it
back, like,
became he split up. So two of his sons now one of them's Tron Inc. and the other one's Neutron, and one of his sons owned the Skills College of Canada or whatever. But I used to work for Gildo, which is the father, and then I used to be in the truck with him sometimes, and I would hear him talk to customers. I would hear him talk to builders and stuff like that, and that's how I learned a lot of how you deal with people in business.
I agree.
You know,
Agreed.
it's just listening to him and how he would talk to people.
That's just as important as actually doing the job, huh?
Oh, 100%.
If not more, right?
More.
Yeah, I would say that's like.
Well,
what
they have to like
sets
you.
So if you're the guy, if Patos come and say, okay, Tyler, go to this job over here, go talk to Manny, deal with the whatever, and you get to the job, and Manny's like, hey, can you add like 4 pot lights over here, do this and this, and you're like, no, that's not what Patos said. He said I was doing this, and that's all I'm doing. If you're that kind of guy, like Manny doesn't want to deal with you. He's going to call him up and be like, dude, don't send this like
Yeah.
fucking kid here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of guy that's like, oh, Pato said I was doing something else, but we could just give him a call and
Yeah, no problem.
I'll fit that in. Don't worry about it. We'll factor that in. And then, you know what I mean? You reason with them and you try
It's
to
all
work
on
it.
the wording. That's it.
Yeah, you know what I
100%.
mean? Like
Yeah.
if and you learn that along the way.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
if you're like that, you have to work with people, right? So
Show confidence.
yes.
Once you show confidence, the client will have confidence in you.
Yes.
If you don't have confidence in yourself,
Well, they're always challenging you, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to be, and that was somebody said to me, you need to show confidence and be able to say no. And starting a new business, it's hard to say no because you're like, fuck, I'm used to a steady paycheck. So now I'm saying yes to everything because I'm afraid to say no. I want that dough. I want to build this. So you become the yes man. And so you realize I can't just say yes to everything because I don't want to bring my business to this. You know what I mean? So
It's funny how in a tradesperson's career, at the beginning of it, you'll get a lot of younger guys that'll walk in before, or they'll walk in after their confidence walks in. And then as they're learning all their skills, that mindset comes up later on too. And I don't think it's good to walk into the job site to begin with your career, walking in after confidence. You should be walking in after confidence, like before confidence, I mean. Am I trying to explain it? You know?
before confidence. Don't walk in cocky.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to get
Yeah.
at.
Don't be-
You-
don't
and
be
confidence
cocky.
comes from experience, which comes from being humble, which comes from learning, from asking questions, and,
That's right.
and that whole path. So you shouldn't be just walking in going, "Hey, I'm an electrician, so this is what I know more than you." Kind
And
of
not only
bullshit,
that,
right?
by him being fresh, he's gonna naturally challenge him to stay up to date.
Of course,
Yes.
of course, because
Yeah.
that's the one thing about this specific trade. You guys are constantly fucking changing it, man. Not you guys, the whole
yeah.
industry. is
Every 4
changing it.
years.
Changing it,
ESA
man.
is sending bulletins like if this is going out of style. It's like we don't even have a
insane.
new code book yet. We have how many bulletins,
Hundreds.
right? So
So you always have to be updated for that shit.
And now they're gonna start the yearly masters test.
What's that?
You guys haven't heard about that yet?
No.
really,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
To
fuck.
keep your masters, you gotta do a yearly test.
There we go.
Is that just a cash grab?
No, I agree with that.
Okay, because people kind of get lazy.
Well, you gotta stay up to date if you want to do the trade. Don't you agree?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
I
there's a
agree
lot
with
of guys
that.
that are from.
No,
who
but you
aren't
know
staying up
what?
to
Hold
date.
on.
I don't know how they're going to do that.
I agree and I
I can't believe
disagree.
you guys haven't heard about this yet.
No, I don't know
I
how they're
haven't
going to
heard
do
of
it.
it, no.
though.
Okay, but what if you're doing above and beyond the work that's supposed to be done? That's the business that you built. So every
No, but
time you go do a
he
job,
just said himself. There's tons of bulletins that you have to know.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
If you won't, they're forcing you to learn it.
Okay, so here's the problem that I have with it. A test doesn't make you smarter
Oh, I know.
or better.
I suck at tests.
It doesn't.
I suck at tests.
It doesn't, right? So it's like you're only as good as the job that you're working on right now. Not yesterday's, not tomorrow's, the one that you're working on right now. So a test isn't going to do all that's doing in my eyes.
Well-
Cash grab.
Maybe I worded it wrong. Maybe it's not a test though. Maybe it's a course that you have to take.
that you know what that
Mandatory course.
Yeah,
To a
but we
point
already
that I
we
can
already
agree
have to
with.
like do that code update thing. Don't we already have to do
Yeah,
that?
but now they're gonna make it for your
Do
master's
you,
ticket.
do you not do that already every time you do a job
not
and an
mandatory.
inspector comes on the site and it works, like reviews your work that you've done? Do you not do that course?
Basically.
Yeah, basically, if the inspector even wants to tell you what you did wrong,
yeah coming with a chip on his shoulder.
What's
Yeah.
okay? Have they hinted at what this course is going to cost or this test
No.
is going to cost?
No.
But there's going to be a fee attached to it.
100%, everything's cash grab.
And that's why I actually agree. I think it's just a money grab. The fire
is.
alarm, you have to do upgrades every year. And every year I do the bloody upgrades, and they're bullshit.
You know what
Working
I think
the
it should be? I think it should be like Michelin stars. You know the restaurant?
Yeah.
I think that inspectors should go undercover onto a job site and just walk around, and then you're not aware of it, and then you get passed or failed based on it.
Yeah? Well, you know what it is?
See, now you guys get nervous because then you won't know who it is, right?
No, well, first of all, there's
You
only
see
like
the guy
20 of them.
collecting copper?
But you know what it is about doing this whole thing with the masters? Because sometimes you have a master electrician for a company that's in Muskoka
True.
Yeah.
the entire year, per
Yes.
se. You know, not a year, but let's just say a couple of weeks a month. And the electricians are working. So a lot of masters and a lot of these companies don't even know what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And technically, a master is supposed to go oversee the work of the electrician.
Yes.
In theory, right? Technically.
Technically.
Right? If you work for any company that's got more than 20 guys, Have you even met the master?
No, I know.
Right? So but that's a
you-
new one. I gotta look into that.
But
Huh?
you do agree that you should stay updated.
Oh, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the purpose of
Yeah.
that is.
But
Yeah.
my argument
Yeah.
is that you're updating every single job you work on, that you don't need to stop everything and do a test.
Or
No,
maybe
but I think you're
maybe,
assuming that the guys are actually updating them on every single job. They're not.
okay, well maybe not upgrading, but every job that you do, you take out a permit.
Kohler will be the first to offer custom color options on air-cooled standby generators. 10 popular enclosure color options with standout shades of green, blue, red, purple, and yellow, and blend-in shades of gray, beige, and white. They also have 3 mossy oak camouflage enclosure options: bottomland, breakup country, and shadow grass habitat. When it comes to reliability, nothing beats a Kohler generator. Get the facts and find your generator at Effect Electric Ltd. and find them on IG at Effect Electric Ltd.
We do. You do.
I do. Yes.
But not everybody.
What's
Not
a-
everyone.
What's a
yeah, you know
permit?
what? Not everybody.
I don't know.
Okay, so but maybe those tests or those courses are designed for the people who want to try to get away with things,
Yes.
right? Which I understand, but that goes back to the inspections coming on a job site, so you'll get busted, you'll get caught.
Yeah, and they're definitely coming down on that kind of stuff.
Oh, they're
more.
cracking down right now. Oh yeah, I took over a
Which I
job.
agree with.
Right
Well-
now as it stands, if you're a master electrician every 4 years, I'm pretty sure it's mandatory that you have to attend your code update course.
That's right.
Which, like, for last time, it was at Nottawasaga
And they're
Inn,
making it yearly.
and there was like 20 of us that got in, and all they do is go over the major things that got changed in the code.
But now there's so many.
The major things.
But right now,
they won't go over,
everything
like the
is
little things,
EV.
but the major things that got changed in the code.
well, that's what
EV
they're
and
promoting.
generators. Right now,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah,
is EV and generators. Any
Yeah,
type
but the
of
biggest changes in the code book has got to be solar.
no. The latest bulletin it was EV chargers and generators.
It's all
I'm just
about
saying
it's all
the
about the
newest code book
friggin'
came out in
transfer
May.
switches all the time now.
Yeah, transfer switches.
Yeah.
Like you ask
That's a big one, too.
10 inspectors, you'll get 20 different fucking answers about a
Yep.
transfer switch.
Oh, me and him.
Yeah.
Like it's
Go back and
friggin-
forth.
Energy
Why is there
management
such a change?
system.
It's just
Same
about
thing.
all it comes down to is about the bonding of the transfer switch and how we do it.
You want to get into this?
Oh shit!
What do you
This
mean
is
the
a long
bonding?
dis-
The
there you
actual-
Like the neutral bonding of a generator is like so. And you look at when you're looking at a panel, right? Your neutral in the panel is grounded, right?
Yeah.
You're taking a number 6 grounding conductor. You're taking it to either your cold water pipe if it's going underground.
You realize I'm not an electrician, right? I'm just saying, yeah. Right?
Dude, I'm
just
trying to explain this. I'm trying to explain this very simple. Okay.
It's not.
So it is simple.
For you guys.
So, but then you're
you
going
know
to
that
a
white wire beside the water line?
There we go. Now I know what you're talking
or you're
about.
going to like a manufactured grounding electrode, right? So, if you do a transfer switch before the panel, you have to take some people say you don't, but you have to take that
This is the
ground and bring it up to that neutral now, and then everything beyond that is bonded.
Can I explain to him better?
Well, you got to
You
ground
can
the first.
definitely please.
The first.
Okay.
Carlo's here to translate.
Every house needs a bond between the neutral and the ground. Following?
Yes.
And usually it's from the water pipe. So when you look at the water meter,
Yes.
there's that
Yes.
ground wire.
Yes.
When you do a generator with a transfer switch, you're supposed to put move that bond to the transfer switch because now it's a service entrance transfer switch.
How are you supposed to do that if the ground is
No,
already
but we do that.
It's how you do
It's
it.
how you do it.
It's how you do
But
it.
every house is different on how you do it based on the way that you want to install
and
it.
every inspector is different the way they inspect that?
Kind of.
A lot of times,
yeah.
So there's no golden rule on
Well,
how
there's
There is,
there's
but there's
actually
bulletins, there's
what's it, like
changes.
5 of them, 5 diagrams
Yeah.
you can choose from, and it's just like
Exactly.
it's
And it
kinda
all comes down to the
ridiculous.
inspector. You get that more.
So what do? You pull up the diagram and you go, that kind of looks like it.
Well, let's we're going to use a perfect example. Remember the pool I just did?
Yes.
Explain the pool.
Okay, so Carlo does a pool. So when you do a pool, you have to bond all the paneling on the pool. So you're bonding 4 equal points.
If
of
it's
the
not
pool.
an aluminum pool, if it's fiberglass, you don't need it.
Yeah.
No,
But
but
let's just,
we're talking about the equipment though.
Got it.
But let's just talk about like a steel pool. You're bonding all the pool, points of the pool. You're taking that wire. You're running back to the equipment. You're also getting the steel mesh around the pool, and you're going to get a ladder. You'll get the cups of the ladder. You'll get the diving
Fence.
board, fence if it's within what's it freaking
I think it's 5 feet.
5 feet. Yeah. So then you go back to the equipment, and then you go through all the equipment bond lugs. and you're going to hit the heater, salt generator if they have one,
Your water pump.
any equipment to deal with the pool. Okay, that's your equipotential bonding, and basically
One wire attaches all of it.
all of it.
Number 6 minimum.
Okay,
Can we change the word bond to ground?
No.
No.
There's a
Big
difference.
difference,
There's a
and that's
huge
where people
difference.
get it twisted.
so you ground your service.
Got it.
At the first point.
Got it.
So you know the little what you call a ground pin.
Yeah.
That's a bond pin. And if you notice that if you ever do like a GFI for like a 2-wire circuit, you have to put a sticker on there saying no equipment bond.
Got it.
Because it's bonded to ground. You're bonding everything to ground.
Cool.
Okay, so you then, when you look at all the pool equipment, you're doing that equipotential bonding. You're keeping everything on the same plane. Okay, so when Carlo then put a ground plate beside the equipment, and I saw
Which is up to code.
and I saw his post, and I'm like, I would be ripping that out because you now create a hazard. Whereas if you have like voltage, if you have stray voltages coming from another source, you can actually induce that voltage on that equipment because you already have your bond wires coming.
It's two. There's two of them now.
Yeah, I get
You already have your bond wires coming from your feeder circuits and getting that equipment anyway. So you don't need to ground or bond the pool equipment. What you're doing is you're just creating everything at an equipotential bond. So let's just say you had how can I explain this? If you had like a person standing on the pool deck, and all of a sudden, so a perfect story. ESA put this out in one of their podcasts. Was a hot tub. Every time they passed, did you hear that?
Yeah.
Every time they passed the baby from the hot tub to the wife outside, where she was standing on they were getting
concrete.
shocks.
She was getting shocks.
Where it was coming from was induced voltage in the pad.
The steel.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't bonded.
So with especially with hot tubs too, we always tell the guy doing the pad, if they're doing a pad, stick like a little nub out, a rebar
No one
that's
does.
tied to it, and we put a ground lug from that to your spa pack under
To avoid the shock.
to avoid that.
Just like the little thing that hangs on the back of your car. You always see those little rubber.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Same thing. Same idea.
So with that equipotential bonding though, so when that inspector went there, he passed that. Okay? But technically you shouldn't be tying all your pool equipment and anything associated with your pool should not tie to anything else.
It should tie back to the service.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Yeah, the pool.
It should
and all
not
the
tie to,
equipment.
but you already have the bond wires in your feeder conductors.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's already tied
Yeah,
into
yeah.
it. But
Which is part of the service.
But when you look at like all your equipment bonding, that should never tie into anything else. Where the inspector passes it, and you have another inspector would probably look at that and be like, "No, pull that ground plate out."
And
You have two grounds at that
and
point.
I know this. So I specifically asked the inspector, "Hey, is that ground plate okay?" He's like, "Oh yeah, he goes, good." Right?
So we get,
And
you know,
he's
what I
not
mean?
wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. I'm not wrong. It's just
So you can't have 3 wrongs, man. Like, I don't understand how everybody.
If you ask my wife, yes, you could have more than you have a lot more than that. There is 7 wrongs in a week.
And if you think that's complicated, when we talk about transfer switches and generators, it's way more complicated than that.
So what is the concern? Because I want to get onto the safety components of.
What's the concern of what the where the bond's going?
No, the actual unit itself, because you are having you're connecting a device that has some safety risks. No,
Yeah.
so like, what are some of the safety risks? That
It's
are
the
attached?
path to ground that it takes.
Okay.
So if you were to take a conductor and so this is all metal. If you were to take a conductor and put it to here, what path to ground does this take?
Yeah, it works.
Right? So the same thing with a transfer switch. If you do the bonding where you're creating a loop, if you put in 2 ground plates, which path to ground is it going to take? Electricity, like any power source, always wants to go
Least
back.
resistance.
Every power source always wants to go back to its source, right? Anything stray, like your ground or your bond, you want to call it, it's basically it's a safety precaution. It's if this got energized, is if this steel gets energized, instead of Manny holding this thing getting energized, it's going to you want it to like go back and go to ground.
Yeah.
And now that you have 2, imagine it splitting now. Some goes back this way, some goes back to the
Now
new
you
ground
got 2
plate.
potentials.
And if you barefoot, it's going to use you.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
and it'll hurt.
That it comes down to like the path to ground is where.
Grounding and bonding is probably the most difficult thing to explain and to teach.
Because they always get it confused.
It's
People
just
don't realize the difference between bonding and grounding. And the difference between everybody thinks that a coupling, for instance, on a piece of conduit is so that way it holds the fucking pipe together, and that's not it. It's
Especially
to
when you
keep-
don't screw them in.
That's right. It's to keep a mechanical bond going.
yeah, and that comes from the old school when there was no ground wire.
There you go.
Right?
Like,
They-
again,
that
we
was
started.
your
I
bond.
started a long time ago, and I learned from some old timers. And
Yes.
at the end of the day,
But you can't blame them because that's what they had at the time.
That's right. But there's a lot of buildings out there. There's no ground wire in the conduit.
That's right.
And that's completely okay, as long as all your screws are down and keeping the mechanical bond going.
But you know they're all coming
Bond,
apart.
not a
They're all coming
ground.
apart.
Your ground is the most important thing when it comes to electricity.
Yeah,
It-
100%.
It's your safety. It's your
100%.
safety.
That's what's going to
So,
save you.
and I would even so I would tell Tyler this is you have a meter. Do you have an electrical meter?
Just a small one.
What kind of is it like the Klein thing?
It's a Klein.
So you have on there, you have a setting with the omega sign. You know what that is? Resistance. Okay, turn the sound off on it because it does make a beep beep noise. Turn that sound off all the time because you're never going to rely on that. Okay, realize what the number is on a resistive value, and always realize what that represents. Before you test your meter. Your meter will have like a resistive value, so you can tell your reading from that to whatever you're measuring. But always, if you have to learn one thing this year, learn what the resistive value of everything, like what you're testing and how that works in a circuit.
And that comes in handy, real handy with
Yes.
generators.
Yes.
That's good.
You need to know.
Okay.
We actually
And-
look in
and-
the service manuals and look at all the resistance for
Really
the
good
stator.
advice.
So-
Don't rely on the tone.
So I would even this going. So I would tell any kid that's in this trade too is like, if you were going to rely on anything to do with this trade, and I tell that, and I can ask any apprentice that's ever worked with me, the very thing that I tell them is, are you an electrician or are you an installer? Because if you're an installer, I don't need you here. Go away.
Right.
You want to be an electrician? You need to know what every function on that meter does and what it represents.
You need
Okay.
to learn how to read the meter.
Yeah.
Don't go buy a fancy meter to be like all these other guys with the nice yellow fluke and whatnot, but you don't even know how to read it.
And don't wait for school.
I have a fluke.
And don't
I
wait
have
for
a fluke
trade
too.
school to teach.
My fluke is inside my anti-theft bag, which is a Klein
yeah.
bag.
Oh, I've got it everywhere. I got one underneath my seat,
So-
one of my toolbox.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I think every one of my testers, I think, is like $1,200.
Yeah, he's his is like the Porsche for like,
I'm very
it's
good.
electrical porn.
Like,
So I go back to your $190 service call.
Manny, we're still
I
looking
keep
for a
telling him to
manager.
It's too low.
We're actually sending Manny out to do quotes now.
No, but that's valuable advice, man.
Oh, 100%,
So,
and I
yeah, but,
appreciate that.
Like as an
You
electrician,
know?
I would be asking him every day about the meter.
'Cause you're
too.
allowed.
Like
After your license? No.
while you're driving to the job, I would have your meter in your hand and be like, even if you've already asked him again.
Yeah.
And I'd be so I take time out of my day. Sometimes I'll take like 5 minutes out of my day and I'll just go up to Matt and be like, come here, I want to show you something. So like for example, like the low LV
Don't
feature.
give him too many ideas, though. I want to drive home sometimes in a nice piece of quiet vehicle.
But you have a
Next
guy.
thing you know, he's going to be in my
got
ear all
lots of
day.
time.
So you have a guy that spent, wait, you said 25 years, right?
Yeah.
25 years in the trade,
Yeah.
okay? You can either go Google this or look left and be like, hey, bud, I got a couple questions for you, man. Because that guy has been through the ringer a couple times. You know what I mean? He's been beat up. He's been freaking
yeah.
dragged through
Oh,
the
yeah.
mud. You know what I mean? And he's sitting next to you while you're driving.
Lots
you
of
know what I mean?
stories.
So
Oh, buddy.
so get off Instagram, get off like Facebook, and just basically
Listen
like,
to podcasts.
Hey, yeah. You know why? That's what we've been doing lately.
But this is why we like this podcast.
Oh,
Yeah.
so when it comes down to this trade, if there was one thing I can say I absolutely love about the electrical construction industry is the people you meet and like the relationships you build along the way. And you know what I mean? Like break time for me and lunchtime for me is like you shoot the shit with people and you just have a coffee with somebody like the general contractor or the tile guy or the painter. And you have these little brotherhoods that last and you might not see them for another year or whatever, right?
But the
And-
connection's
and-
always
yeah,
there.
and
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
It's like
I
that
agree.
camaraderie, and you've been through the war together, and you've been on this job, and you're like, hey, remember that fucking customer? Holy shit. Yeah, I remember that. Remember that fucking job we were on?
Yeah.
And they fucking wanted to move like 10 pallets. Oh,
She's
fuck
standing
that.
right behind you.
Yeah. But what I've told ever since, like, I started listening to this about a month ago. I don't remember when I messaged you. So, and the very first episode I listened to of this, I messaged
Which one?
The very first episode.
Oh, the very, very
Oh,
first.
yeah.
Good enough is not good enough for me.
So after I listened to this, I text messaged them and I'm like, this is the exact thing that friggin' like apprentices need to hear, because this when you go over these, like if you go through like the first ones and stuff like that, this is the construction. This is what I love about the construction life. Is all the talking about like bullshit that happens on the job, all the minutia that happens during the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can be like, oh yeah, like people are hiring you because you're a pro and you should be a pro, right? And when you're there, you want to be a professional, you do your job, but at the same time, you kind of want to feel good. And like, you know what I mean? There's sometimes like, I'll be honest with you, Carla's in Orangeville, give me a call. Hey, buddy, you around? Let's go for a fucking coffee. You know what I mean? Or if I was in,
100%.
in Isville or whatever,
Yeah.
I'm calling them up and be like, Carl, you around right now?
There's times for everything.
Yeah.
There's time to be serious, get the job done. And then there's other times where you'll see me doing the fucking salsa and macarena across the floor. And I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm having a good time.
You know what?
I mean?
He
It's all
started
good.
with 2 of those bottles, and now there's one.
We used to do that back in the day, man. We used to do that. No, you're 100% right. That's what it's all about. That's what I love to. I always encourage anybody that was new or old or whatever on the site, just ask, pick your brain, whatever. Just talk, shoot the shit. That's how I love seeing certain trades that are dedicated to their craft asking questions of other trades. Not necessarily because they wanted to compete against them, or whatever, but they were just inquiring. They were just honestly wanted to know why they're doing it that way.
I remember, like, before I became an electrician, I went to school. I went to Sheridan College for business administration, and I was in my marketing class, and I was just like, and then I was just like, I'm looking at this guy in a suit and tie, and all of a sudden I picture myself in an office with cubicles, and I'm just like,
Terrible.
fuck.
That's terrible. That sounds like a nightmare to me.
I was
That's
like,
actually
fuck.
that's a good word that you almost slipped there, an offical.
Yeah, like, fuck this shit. Yeah,
I never
offical.
want to be in an offical.
Yeah, fuck this
Oh
shit.
my
You know what I mean?
God.
Like,
Yeah.
and I was just like, I picked up my backpack and I started walking out. Teacher's like, Mr. Davidson, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom. And he's like, with your backpack? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, good luck in life. I get in the trade. I know nothing about construction. I grew up in like a family. My dad was a cab driver. My mother was like a finance person, and I was never really inclined. The only thing I had a guy that lived behind me. He used to throw a lawnmower out there, and I'd have to take it apart and put it together. But as far as like having a tool set and stuff, so I buy all these cheap Mastercraft fucking tools and get into the JC and shit like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, within my first year, I absolutely loved construction, man. It was
Thank God.
everything that
Coulda
I
went the other way.
Yeah, well, I gotta be honest with you.
There's highs and lows,
and
man.
I'm pretty sure it happened with. Let me ask you guys if it happened with you guys.
Yes, it
First
has.
5 months in the trade, and maybe it happened with you. Did you thought you had to drop the trade? Because I thought I had to drop the trade within 5 months because my knees were hurting.
It was tough.
No,
Yeah.
first 5 months, I would say I'm gonna butt heads with a lot of fucking people.
I did.
Really?
Clients
I did.
or trades or anybody, because I always question if it could be better, if it could be done better, if it could be done smarter, if it could spend a little bit more money, time and effort, a little bit more. So I'm like, I'm gonna butt heads with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, but
See,
But you always wanted better.
I always wanted better. Like
That's a
I
good
thought
thing.
I thought that was a stupid thing to suggest.
what
but,
was the
like,
response when you started telling people that you wanted to become an electrician?
Good for you. I don't know. That's.
Were your parents pretty supportive of it?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
My parents are really supportive of.
Originally,
pretty much
when I
everything.
wanted to get in a trade before I went to college, but originally before I wanted to get a trade, my parents were dead set against it.
Yeah,
that's
same.
because
Same.
Why?
we're old timers, bro.
Why?
And back
Because
in the day,
I wanted to be a carpenter. Originally, I wanted to be a carpenter. I was going to get a trade, and they were like, "No, you're not."
Don't you remember back in the day, it was looked down upon
that's what I was
you were
getting at.
electrical?
in construction.
Any trade.
Construction.
Any trade.
Yeah,
Construction.
any trade.
You gotta remember,
Construction.
25 years to 30 years ago, any trade was bad.
You were ashamed.
Fast forward to today, right? You tell somebody, "Oh, what do you do?" "Oh, I do electrical." "Oh, you must have a lot of money." Now all of a sudden it changed.
Completely
to
changed.
Where like have shitloads
Yeah,
of money,
yeah.
and that's not the case either. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, we do well, but at the same time, we're not.
I was
rich.
not proudly telling people that I started electrical when I started.
Not at the
Oh, I
beginning.
did.
In
I
97?
did. I did. And one guy,
So 20 plus years, 25 years
Yep.
ago.
I remember one guy told me, he goes, "You're only going to go so far working with your hands." He
Who
told
said
me
that?
that.
And what's he doing now?
He was
compared
one
to
of
you?
one of my best friends. One of my best friends' dad. He's living at home.
Yeah.
But
It's
even
amazing what
He
you don't
actually
forget.
said he actually said that
You'll
statement.
go. You'll only go so far working with your hands because I was dropping out of college.
But see,
And
that's
then
the thing.
the biggest, I think the best thing that happened to me one day was my dad sitting in my first house. I was like 24, 25 when I bought my first house. And my dad's sitting in there on my dinner table and he's looking around. He looked over at me and he's just like, "You've done so much better for yourself than I ever did for myself at your age."
Wow.
And I was just
Nice.
like, dude, I'll be honest with you, there was probably some dust in the air or something like that. 'Cause I was
There was
like,
a little bit of glassy eye.
yeah, because I was
Just a
to
little
get
bit.
that
Yeah,
from your
that's-
dad,
Yeah.
and now my dad thinks I'm like the biggest badass out there. He's just like, you know what I mean?
Awesome, man. That's good to hear, brother. That's awesome.
So I was just like, and it was all to do. I'll be honest, with you, man. It's all to do with the trade. Like,
Yeah.
I can everything about construction, man. I love it. And the learning and whatever, and then even the constant evolving. And it's like when I knew nothing
Keyword,
about
the evolving.
Yeah, I knew nothing about IT
Keyword.
before. Still,
Slowly.
Carlo tries to tell me with like an IP addresses, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean?
Is that where you go to the bathroom?
I'm
yeah.
trying to.
Yeah.
I'll tell you,
he'll get it.
I'm with you on that one because I did a bunch of IP cameras.
Yeah.
A fucking nightmare with this IP addresses,
And
man.
it's- yeah, but-
Holy
and
crap.
it's so easy for me.
But now it is,
No,
right?
it's
It's always hard at first, man.
So we were doing a camera system in Orangeville.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
So I basically I got everything off Carlo Reps Hike Vision. So I got everything off of him. Good cameras. And I was trying to set up just their Wi-Fi, and he's walking me through it on the phone. And then I got their Wi-Fi on, and I hung up the phone. I go, "I'll call you back." And then I said, "Carlo will be here tomorrow to set the rest of this up."
You were just overwhelmed.
I was just like, there was like all these numbers on the board. I'm just like,
You know what?
looks like Sudoku, but I'm like, I don't think I'm solving this
It's a nightmare.
shit.
Also, you need a MAC address. You need
You
the
can't
IP
learn-
Yeah.
address. And it's like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing cameras anymore.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
done.
You can't learn everything. You pick the roads, right? Like mine is IT and generators and general electrical, and
Yeah.
you do fire alarm. I know nothing about what you just
Yeah,
said about
I do-
IT. That's how I talk about fire alarm.
Yeah,
I
true.
don't know
Fair
that,
enough, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
You
But
can't learn
there's
it all.
there's value in finding that niche and
Yes.
focusing on that niche.
Yeah.
Definitely do what Tyler's doing in the beginning because that's what you guys did. Get a grasp of everything, an understanding of it, and then pinpoint what you really want to perfect at.
One of the
Yes.
things that I said to him when he came to talk to me about the trade and what I thought about electrical, he's been thinking about getting into it, was not just because I do it, but do it. And then once you start and you start growing in the industry, getting your ticket and everything else, there's so much you can do with electrical.
Oh, yeah.
So much.
So many
Fire
different
alarm,
routes.
generators, PLCs, like automation. Like
Yeah.
there's just so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Pick what you like and run with it.
Yeah, 100%. Pick that niche.
Gentlemen, I want to ask you, we're not done yet, but I know that we're getting close to being done. How did you guys start your businesses? What was the first key lesson that you guys taught yourself or you learned that he may pick up one day? What was that first lesson that you're like, oh, now I'm a business owner. Now I'm learning.
Go ahead, Carlo. You're
Well,
the longest
everyone's got
running.
their story, so I'll tell you mine.
Yeah, I want to know.
I was in with a non-union company, and it got to the point where one day you just look around and you're like, I do everything like a business owner. I find the customers. I deal with the customers. I'm picking up the orders. I'm a manager of other electricians. Why don't I just start my own company? Right?
Yeah.
And then literally I had the typical, it's now or never. I was just getting married. I told my existing boss I'm taking the month off to go on my honeymoon because I haven't had a day off in 2 years.
Oh, shit.
He said no.
Oh,
Said no.
shit. Double
I
shit.
said it wasn't a question. And I left. And then while I was on my honeymoon, I turned to my new wife and I was like, just so you know, I think I'm going to start my own company and I'm going to quit my job. And she's like, we just got married. We got this debt.
Wow.
And so I turned to her and I said, give me a year. And if nothing comes of it after a year, I'll go back because, plenty of options, right? So a year passes. I'm like, I think you should give me one more year. It was a rough year. Go from like, at that time was like over 100K to zero, right?
So it's a hard lesson.
It's a rough
That's
lesson.
a tough one. Yeah.
Because we were just talking about this on the way here. You can be a great electrician and terrible at business.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
You
Or
need
vice
both.
versa.
You need both.
Yeah.
Man.
So I think that goes back to my same answer. Like I do it all because I've tweaked and learned this whole time that I think I'm afraid to let it go. You know what I mean?
But I go
do
back
it-
to, like, you got to listen to the older trades. I've spoken to a handful, and I want to try to get more older trades on the show. I want to get them before they're like gone, and they don't want to deal with anybody at all.
Yeah.
I think that they value, they're trying to still grasp the idea of all the lost time that they had for them personal lives.
Yeah.
Like, it's great to have that passion for the construction life and work your business and do all that stuff and be the best at work and all this other stuff. But you're missing key moments in family time that you could,
100%.
I agree.
you could be
I agree.
focusing on your business. How if you can somehow juggle a 4-day week
Yep.
and still do the same amount of work,
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm
please
saying.
do it.
Yeah.
Well, I've always said when people ask me what made you get into it or whatever, they always think it's the money. Everybody, for some reason, thinking the money.
No, it doesn't start with the money.
No, I always say I didn't do this to get rich.
Challenge.
I'm already rich. Why? Because now I can take a day off and take my daughter to a field trip.
Yeah.
I can go to Wonderland. This year, first time in 25 years, I've gone to 3 field trips with my daughter.
Awesome.
Nice.
It feels amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit if somebody would have called me and said, listen, man, $5,000 I'll give you right now if you come and fix this. Nah, bro, I got a school trip with my little one.
Yeah.
Right? I was able to go pick her up at school. I was able to go drop her off. So that's what makes me rich.
Yep.
So I didn't do it for the money. I did it for the freedom, to have time.
Yeah.
Time you cannot get back. Money you can always make.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that was my
So are you wiring at Wonderland with Carlo?
Wednesday.
But that's valuable, and I mean, I'm sure you've come across this as well too, Pat. Right? Like,
Yeah, like so I've probably come to almost divorce like 3 times, and I would tell you like don't ever like I'd probably be better with like an alcoholism problem because like I always had a workaholic problem where I always devoted my life to the trade and stuff like that,
Right.
and I was just like to the point where it's just like I've upset so many birthdays and you know what I mean, and this and that.
takes its toll, man.
And then at some point I was just like, fuck it, man. This is like, yeah, it's a good trade. And it got me to where I am. But at the same point, it's like, I want to know my kids growing up. Like,
Well, that's it, right?
know,
like,
like-
it makes a difference. You
I
gotta-
want that relationship later
I've
on.
gotten
Yes.
definitely better with that. Like
Yeah.
I didn't meet my 2 sons until they were 2. Right?
Yeah.
But then after that, you know, you get better. You get
I'm
better.
just saying with Tyler, like, you getting started and you're learning how to be the best electrician you possibly can. Also figure out how to be the best manager of your own personal life. If you can do that now, you won't try to catch up with the rest of us that we've done where we're just learning these lessons.
Well, you're going to
now.
learn
Yeah.
from all of his mistakes when you
Yeah.
ask him all the questions.
That's it. Like, to your point, for instance, at the company I was there for so long. I was in the same boat as you. I'm running my own jobs. I'm picking my own materials. I'm overseeing guys. I'm overseeing the jobs. I'm calling all the other trades and coordinating everything. That it got to the point where it's like, hey, wait a minute, man. I'm doing everything. Where's my rewards for everything that I'm doing? Because I'm definitely not getting it here. I'm well paid, but that's not everything.
Yeah.
You want a time off, like you said, hey, I gotta take this time off. Well, we're busy. We just started this job. So what? Get fucking somebody else to run it. I'm going away for a week. I got a
Yeah.
family.
You'll-
you know what I mean?
I was
you'll
getting
always
married.
be-
Yeah, like you're getting married. Like, hello.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it does make a difference, you know?
So on the flip side, obviously we're all going to get out of this business one day.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to be thinking about that exit, right? Or
Yep.
handing it off to a
Yeah.
young generation, right?
I'm trying to convince him to team up.
I
That's
can't
not a
see
bad
my-
idea from what I see, right?
David's
100%. I will call them.
I can't see myself. I just can't see myself ever leaving the construction life, man.
No, I know.
You're going to leave it one
I
day.
just
I don't
wanna-
think you
Listen,
ever truly leave.
because
My
it-
money
I'm
says
with you on
are
that one.
going to
And-
leave it one day.
Well,
It comes down to like I just have too many friends in the industry, and I just don't. I can't picture them. Like I can't picture leaving that.
The only reason why I still have my business as of right now is so it's still an option for my boys. If they one day at 16 or 17 tell me that they absolutely do not want to do it, it's sold.
Yeah.
Well, why can't you look at somebody like a younger person that comes along that either works with
No, I'm
you
just
or-
saying that's my motivation. That's what gets me going.
But
is I'm
not
gonna-
from what I gather, not a lot of offspring are taking over the family business.
No, but it's there. You know, if they want it, it's theirs. If not, because I definitely want to push them to do the apprenticeship, whether they like it or not, kind of thing. Because they won't know yet, but it's beneficial, as you guys can
I mean,
see.
what if they
Right,
want to
yeah.
become
Right?
plumbers, man?
Yeah, God bless. No, God bless. Become a plumber. Become a plumber. Fuck up, you get wet.
One of the things
But they'll dry Porsche.
One of the things I would say too is if my son ever wanted to get in the trade and team up with me and stuff like that, he would have to go work somewhere else for
Yeah.
a bit.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? He can't just work under me. He'd have to go work somewhere
That's
else.
a good idea.
Switch
Your
them up.
boys go there and
Yeah.
your boy goes there.
Yeah.
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 Totally agree.
That makes sense.
So, but he would have to do that, and then he would have to. Like I told her, actually, this came up on the weekend, and how he said he wanted. He asked me about what trade I would probably lean towards if I were him, and I said HVAC because you'll get a bit of electrical, a bit of plumbing, some
True.
refrigeration,
Little bit
all
of
this stuff.
And
everything.
you'll make more money than me.
Yeah, yeah. And then I said, I told him straight out, yeah, like for everybody should be like that. I'm the one guy that wants him to do better than me.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I was telling him like the day you come home with a license, I will shut down my company that day, and I will team up with you.
That's pretty cool.
You know what I mean?
That's
that's my
solid, man.
That's my 100% guarantee. And now he can take this podcast and shove it.
You want to?
But I will 100% guarantee my son that if he ever got into the trade and he wants to team up with me, that day I will shut down.
Once
and
he
team
gets
up
his
with
license.
Yes.
You
How old
want
is
to
he? How
adopt
old
me?
is
I
he?
got 3.
He's 13.
It's close.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine's 10, so I got a little bit of time.
Oh shit, it's on, eh?
Yeah.
If you want to adopt me, hey,
But what's the legal requirement? 16
16.
Not
What's that?
to be on a job site?
8.
Yes, but you can
Sorry.
still bring your kids to work. there.
Who said 8?
That one slipped. Eh? That one slipped.
Like my 10-year-old will start coming like once in a while with me.
Yeah, but legally speaking.
Legally speaking, yeah, 16.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
16.
thought it
He can
was.
shadow, come bring your kid to work day, right?
Yeah.
Because my daughter's 10 and I only have her working at the house, man. I close all the curtains and okay, let's go. We gotta go.
Last
Mommy
Saturday,
wants pawn lights.
last Saturday, I had my boy in there. I had him doing a couple plugs, and I just show him how to do. He basically wired up a couple plugs. I think he did like 3.
I thought you were gonna say I showed him what it's like to be shot.
Yeah. He wired up like 3 plugs, and then you know what I
for
mean.
But you can also tell when you look at your kids. Like I have 2 boys, and I'm like, I can already tell one's guaranteed going to be the electrician, and the other one's not.
Really?
He's going to be
Oh,
the
yeah.
IT guy,
Ah.
like IT, computer programming. Like he eats
Influenced by father
it up.
or no?
No, natural.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Like
okay.
from day one, I would test him and give him a little bit of C++ programming, and he ate it up. Like ate it up, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is normal. So I go to my other son. I'm like, hey, do this. He's like, I don't understand a fucking thing. This is
Yeah, leave me alone.
Did the one son grab a linesman and the other son grabbed a little fine
laptop.
That's the difference there.
Well, I'll tell you, both my daughters, one doesn't know what the drill looked like, and the other one is like, oh, I want to try. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can kind of.
So I agree with you on that one. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But you never know.
It's just you never know. That's what I'm saying. But I think that you shouldn't just fall back on your own kids to take over. I think,
It's just an
I
option.
think there's a huge pool out there
Yep, it's
of
just-
other kids that you can.
I'm gonna
find.
whisper sprinkler fitter in his ear the whole time.
set up
Yeah,
a speaker,
heavy work,
Set up a
sprinkler
speaker in his
fitter.
bedroom, whatever,
Oh,
and just
yeah.
keep on repeating these words right
Yeah.
over and over.
I'll become a sprinkler.
That's it.
That's heavy work, but yeah, hey,
Hey, man.
good money. Pipe fitters, man. Whew.
Yep.
The all-new Kohler home generator. The most powerful. The most durable. The most customizable. And the quietest home generator you can buy. When it counts, count on Kohler.
Yeah.
What's the most important skill to teach any of the young guys?
Work
regarding
ethic.
this? Just work ethic, right?
Yeah.
Work ethic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say work ethic, respect. Yeah, 100%. You got to respect yourself. You got to respect the trade.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't respect the trade, that trade is going to kick your ass. You ride a motorcycle, right?
Yeah.
If you don't respect your motorcycle, what is that motorcycle going to do
You
to
ain't
you?
winning that fight.
Exactly.
That's the bottom line, right?
The
So
other-
this
the
is
other-
not any different. Respect the trade.
The other thing I would say is think all the time. Like, don't stop thinking. Like, even we did this. I realized this in residential when I was doing low rise, is people would call 8-3. They'd be like, "Go get the stove wire. Go get the dryer wire."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You tend to start doing stuff and wiring stuff up because you've always done it like that.
Yeah.
Don't ever be afraid to go, what about this way? Or what about this way?
Butt heads.
I don't, and just kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, question why you're doing what you're doing, because it's like, you'll be taught a lot of stuff, but it's really important to know why you're doing it. As for grounding and bonding, why they're two separate things, and why you're doing that.
And where did you get your clarification though?
For what?
Like that grounding and bonding, or any topic. Where did you actually get the clarification?
The code.
The code, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
He's actually pretty
that's
good at
where I
that.
put ESA on high standards. I would ask the inspectors, why? Why not this?
Yeah.
Why not? He challenges them all the time.
Oh,
You have
yeah.
every right to challenge.
Yeah,
I
but
friggin'
no
love
one
it.
does. But no one.
Everybody's
I'm not
afraid-
challenging them. I'm genuinely curious.
Everybody's afraid to poke the bear.
No,
That's what it is.
the nice ones are very willing to explain the
100%.
code, why, right?
It's
Here's
not
what the
how
thing is,
you ask.
for
You
me-
said it yourself. You're not challenging.
Yeah.
You're asking.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Yeah, huge
Some of these inspectors, if you start challenging them, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Because I said so.
But they shouldn't be doing that, right?
No,
and,
they
and,
shouldn't.
and my first year, yeah, you're nervous, you're scared or whatever,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
like Tyler, I would tell you that if you're on the site by yourself for whatever reason, and then the inspector's there, just like when you're speaking to them face to face, just look kind of past their shoulder and just wait for him to say, "What are you looking at?" I go, "I'm waiting for your supervisor to show up. I want to talk to him or her or whatever," right? Like show that confidence, right? So then, because if you're right in what you're looking at and what you want to challenge, you have the right to challenge them.
Yeah.
You totally do.
100%, yeah.
And you know what? So there's an inspector up in my area that because of him, I became a better electrician.
Okay.
Because he would always give me a stupid little defect.
Name him. Who is it, Mark?
I'm not going to name him.
Okay.
Because we're friends. You never friends now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to name the guy.
You're gonna see him next. He goes, "We're not friends anymore."
No, because they're honestly, most of them are good.
Yeah, so this guy, he challenged me with stuff, and then I would basically call him up and basically be like, try to throw it back in his face and get at him, and I would learn a thing or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even though you're challenging them, they're going to turn around and challenge you about it. And it's just like any inspector, though. Like, I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of them out there. I think it becomes like an electrician trait that we're all fucking dickheads.
We are.
We are.
I tell them that all
we
the
have-
time.
Like, people that are electricians have this trait about them that is so arrogant.
Buddy.
And I look at myself in the mirror, and I'm like,
not just electricians.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
What I
But we're
say all the
speaking for
time,
ourselves.
But
what
we're
I
s-
say all the time is that we're dicks and we're a bunch of princesses.
Yeah.
And I can say it because I'm a Sparky. So you know
Yeah.
what? Nobody can say nothing to me.
Yeah, and then
Very
I
simple.
I just look at it as like, but there's some inspectors out there. There's a really lot. The older boys are really cool, and they're like, oh yeah, you know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like,
They want it, yeah.
yeah, and they're just like, I think they're just wanting to go drink their bottle. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of times too,
not Friday.
the younger ones that have something to prove, they just want to like get at you and like,
Yeah.
you know, you.
I think that's what I have a problem with is the younger ones that think that they have something to prove.
yeah.
And you need to show some respect if you want respect. That's just
And we can name one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I find
Don't-
building
don't name that
inspectors
name.
hard
I
to
think
deal
everybody
with.
in the industry has gotten like butted heads with a young inspector
No, but like
at some point, right?
So we're pulling inspections every day almost, right?
Yeah.
So the round of guys and girls that we meet, like he said, oh, you're good. Do you want me to open this up? Nah, don't worry about it, right? But the new guy that I just had the other day, open it all up. Like open it all up. Okay. So open it all up. I'm like, you like what you see? You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, you know what you're doing. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
So what was the point of that?
I know. That's exactly it. I'll entertain it. Like, whatever.
I don't think it's. I don't.
It's not nice.
Yeah, I would question it. I'd like to talk to the
I think when
supervisor.
when the laptops they type in our company names, it should say, 13 years, 0 defects. That
Well,
should mean
yeah, it
something.
shows 100%.
That should mean
yeah.
something.
Because it means that you're doing your job well and you care about what you're doing. Like, what is the primary focus of an inspector to show up on a site? Like,
Hey,
what's the first thing that they're
Make sure it's
looking
wired
for?
properly.
Life
Grounding.
safety.
I would say
Yeah.
safety is the number one.
So
thing.
with the code too, and every electrician should be like this. It's my hierarchy. Protection of your life is up here.
yes,
Protection of your property is slightly below it.
yes,
Your budget's down here.
Yes.
And how we feel about each other is irrelevant. to it.
100%.
Yeah.
man.
And that's how
Yes.
when I go to work every day, like a lot of people think I'm an asshole when I'm at work, right?
I love this guy.
You too?
And they think because so I joke around a lot, you know what I mean? Like I tell you, I fucking love joking around, man. Like fucking telling jokes all day. But when so even my apprentice knows this, is like I'll joke around with you all day. The second I start talking about electrical, I'll change. And this is the way it is. I'm very black and white about it. And it's just, this is the way it is. And this
No
is the
pun
only way it is.
intended.
Right?
Well, electrical's black and white. There's no gray area.
Yeah. And it's
Right?
just, so that's what it is. You know what I mean? So
Well, the consequence is too great if you don't take it serious.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That's why
I
there's
need your
no
full
gray
attention.
area. If you're in that gray area, that's the
Yeah.
danger zone, dude. Like
Full
no.
attention.
Like, yeah.
And
You
with
know-
time, they're going to see their own shit anyway.
You guys are professionals. You guys are professionals in your trade, right? Like, honestly, do we need homeowners to pull permits in electrical?
I don't
should.
believe in it.
what do you mean?
I don't believe in
Should
it.
They're
they
allowed.
should they be allowed to
They're
pull
allowed.
permits
Same
in
in the castle
electrical?
rule.
I think it should be like gas. I don't think a homeowner should be able
No,
to
but
go buy-
homeowner is allowed to do their own gas.
Yeah. Yeah, they
Yeah.
are.
According to
Yeah,
the TSSA,
yeah.
I have a
Yes.
problem with that. I
But-
actually went to TSSA
Yeah.
and complained about that.
But when the
Yeah.
homeowner pulls that King of the Castle permit there, they get inspected way different than if
Oh,
we
yeah.
were.
They do,
Oh,
and
so
they're,
that is
and they're
true.
charged more
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I just don't think that they should be allowed.
Okay, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. So would you rather a homeowner pull his own permit and do his work and get it inspected, or hire some kid in a Honda with a milk crate for his tools to come in there without a permit?
Well, it's
see,
apples
the
and
problem
apples.
but he's an apprentice. He's an electrician apprentice.
But he's not a licensed electrician. So
But what I'm saying is, like, some people,
I know what you're saying.
some people
but
can't
the-
afford an electrician.
But the homeowner it barely has a driver's license.
Some people can't afford an electrician.
Unfortunately, you're right. And
So
that's
then
when
you're
they
not
find
ready to do the
Kijiji
reno
guy.
then. Then that means you should wait to do the reno.
You know what? I heard one of your podcasts that you put out before, and you guys, you and Carlito talked about that. You were like, if your budget doesn't meet up with the rent, you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe you should
Agreed.
hold off, and do it at another.
still
point.
hold to that.
100%. I
Yeah.
agree with you 110%. But
we wouldn't have the workflow.
yeah, sometimes that's not the case, and if the homeowner, you know what I mean, if the homeowner wants to take out their own permit, like.
See, the problem I have is that they open up a can of worms because then lots of homeowners will do
Yeah.
it without even pulling the permit. Then they're doing stuff, and then they could potentially have a fire.
I would rather see them call a licensed electrician. And I say this all the time, so I don't just promote myself. Like, anybody that's ever called me, or if they found me on Facebook or whatever, I've always posted this. If our timeline doesn't meet your timeline or your budget, please contact somebody and go to ESA and find a licensed electrical contractor. Right? I've always said that. But at the same time, do I think they should be allowed? I don't know. I'm always on the fence with that.
Yeah, I'm on the fence because you know what? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, a homeowner will pull a permit. Is he really doing the job?
He's getting it done
Yeah.
no matter what. So
That's the thing.
I'd rather him pull the permit.
Well,
Yes.
100%
Yes.
because at least it's being inspected, right?
Yeah.
After they hire somebody like us to go fix what they fucked up.
Yeah.
Double the price, yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
what my coffee mug says.
I've even had homeowners call me because they've all run the wires themselves, and they're like, "Can you come
That's
in?"
a tough one. What do you
So-
do with
so
that?
this
I
is-
don't.
I'm about to
no.
tell
You
you.
don't?
I don't even entertain it.
I wouldn't entertain.
I'm about to tell you exactly what we do. Okay, because we help them out. Because I'm going to be honest with you, someone's going to help them out.
That's what I'm saying. So it's a tough one.
So I would rather help them out and do it right. So this is what we do. This actually just happened to me last month. Okay, so homeowner ran all his own wires. And he was like, "Can you?" And he said, "Can you finish it off?" And I'm like, "Before you board, call ESA, tell them the work that you did, and then I'll take out my permit and I will go over the work that I did.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we're going to measure out all your circuits."
To make sure everything's good.
Yes.
Right.
And the only reason why I won't
they're
do
going
that-
to pay me to do that.
Will they pay you?
Yes, they like this
'Cause
guy.
that,
Yes,
that way is more expensive than
I was
if they
going to
would've
say,
just called you in the
once
first
you
place.
said they were Megger,
yes.
that's money.
My insulator, like I have a tester, like the Fluke 1587. That actually has a Mega in it. So I'm like, I have it on.
I love this thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It connects to your phone and everything. I'm a big
fancy
Fluke guy.
pants.
Sorry, I'm like advertising for Fluke over here.
I got
I'm
3 Fluke meters.
I'm a
so
huge Fluke
I'm catching
guy,
up.
man.
But that thing's awesome. I need to
So-
get one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$1,200 bucks.
That's what
Yeah.
because they're gonna get that work done anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
They're doing it anyways.
And
it's like-
somebody's gonna come without a maggot
Yeah.
to do it.
I don't know if they're going to get. I think they might get to the point where they can't find their price that they want to hear, and then they'll just get it done by the person.
someone will come around for like $26.
At the end of the day,
A
they will
licensed
always
person?
find.
Won't be me.
A
No, it
licensed?
might not be a licensed
won't
guy.
be a
It'll be a
licensed.
handyman.
Yeah.
They will always find somebody. That's
Yeah.
the problem. That they will
I-
always find somebody.
And
And this is supposed to be a
that
protected
guy I
trade.
just helped out. At least now his work is inspected. It's on record that what he did and what I did.
True.
Yeah.
And it's done now.
But do you not agree that that costs more than if he hired a licensed electrician from the beginning?
Oh, hell yeah. Time.
I don't care at that point. I'm like, he didn't do that. And now I'm in here to help him. And I'm going to help him to the best of my ability.
He's nice.
You know what I mean?
He's nicer than me.
Fair
So,
enough.
it's
Yeah.
It's good to be in
well,
your first year of construction, eh?
In the end of the day, he gets a nice bill. You know what I mean? And they'll complain about it. And then I'll just be like, just pay the bill. I don't care.
This
So
is
now
how I
let me
see-
ask you guys something. How do you deal with that client that has champagne taste but beer budget?
Good point. It's always brought up.
I don't. I don't.
You don't.
This is
but
my
you don't
price.
know that. It's not like they tell you, hey,
No. This is my price.
and
Yeah.
take it or leave it. That's
There,
it. It is
there,
what it
there
is.
are progress payments involved. Anything added is a change order, and nothing moves forward
So
until
you guys don't take your price and then they go, that's too high. Can you just magically make that number lower? But I still
don't.
want to keep everything that's on that list.
I don't. Start minusing stuff off that list. Is a
That's
good
the
one.
only way you modify a price.
Yes.
Is you remove scope.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't
Because
just magically.
I
remove
even
the
get
price.
I even get a lot. Well, instead of using Lutron Casetas, can you just use normal Leviton switches? No. If you want me to do the job,
I could use Casetas.
yeah, but this specific job that I'm doing, I'm gonna use Lutron Casetas. I don't like, and if you don't like it, you can call him. You can call him. You can call.
So every time
$10
somebody's ever actually said that to me, it's like, can we just do that? Can we just do that?
And he'll do it.
I brought up what I just brought up to you. Here's my hierarchy of priorities. And I give them that
Gotcha.
spiel.
And how do they react to that?
And I was just like, in the end of the day, I've said it to a few people too, and I've lost some jobs. And you know what? I've had many wives say, I want to hire him, because the first thing afterwards I say is, I don't care about you. What I care about is your kids. They don't have a choice of living here or not, and your
Yeah, okay.
stupidity is going to cost them. So I was in a house one time, and then the same color of pink paint on the walls was the same color of pink paint that I had in my girl's room. And there was a switch in a closet, and the moret just blew up because somebody didn't want to twist their neutrals together.
Right.
At that moment in my life, I was like, and I just pictured that's my daughter's
hey,
room.
home.
So yeah, and it made it real. And it was just like, at that moment in my life, I'm just like, yeah, no, I don't really care what you're hiring me because I'm the professional. You can
Right.
either listen to me, or I can go somewhere.
For the right price.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to help you no matter what. I will try to help you. I'll guide you. But if you keep pushing back on me, I'll just shake your hand. I'll say, sorry, I'm not the contractor for you.
Exactly.
And we'll part ways.
See, the reason why I asked is because I came from the commercial side. So a lot of this residential stuff is so new to me.
I don't think there's a right and wrong answer though.
Yeah.
This is how I do it.
Right.
But the unfortunate thing is the clients actually know that there's somebody else out there that will do it the way they
Yes.
want it done.
And that's why there's someone for everybody.
I had clients argue the extras. It's like, this is an extra. You want me to keep going? We need to take care of the extras before I keep going. Because I know that once I give you the final bill and there's this much extra, you're going to be like, oh, well, what's this for? Well, remember you wanted this, and this extra, or did you just magically forgot about it?
Oh, they magically forgot.
Right?
about it.
So
They
I say
always do
no.
Magically.
Those
I'm stopping work until the extras are taken care of. And it's a fucking battle. Where in commercial, I go up to the PM and say, listen, we're going to have to do this, this, and that to correct this. Okay, no problem. Send me the PO.
Yeah.
Done. Beautiful. Okay, I get my money in 60 days. But shit, man, at least I'm getting paid. I'm not pulling teeth.
I would love to help everybody, even if it was for free. But again, it goes back to my balance thing.
Yeah.
I have other customers that are willing to value my work and pay me my price. I can't be dealing with that.
But you can't save everybody.
No.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I will try, definitely. I do tons of freebies. He knows it, right? I do tons of freebies to help people.
This is why
If
I
I
say
have
we
the
got to
time-
be called the real Power Rangers, man. Come on.
You know, if you have the time, by all means.
Yeah.
Right? If you have the time, especially in my neighborhood, if I'm close and it costs me nothing to just drive over there and help somebody, for sure.
Oh,
if
you're
I
a
have
nicer
the
guy
time.
than me, man. I own my decals once I pull it to my street.
So one of the things
exactly
too,
where I'm at, yeah.
one of the things too is like when you walk away from a job because you don't match up with that customer, that just alleviated that time for one of two things. You either get that personal time with the family,
Yeah.
or you get time for a better job, the job that you wanted.
But at
So
the same
that's what I meant by-
time,
A lot of times that people will just do the job and they'll try to accommodate people because they're afraid of not having work the next day. I'm like, you're an electrician, dude.
well, that was me. Like I said, I just started learning how to say no.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to accommodate everybody. Maybe I'm being too fucking nice. I don't know.
are.
But I'm trying to accommodate everybody.
Well,
and I'm trying to help everybody out.
no, it's true.
You should try to accommodate people, but at the same time, it's like there's a cutoff point where they're just pushing on you and pushing on you and pushing, and they're just taking advantage of you.
Exactly what I was just going to
And
say.
you know
what
what
I
the
mean?
funny thing is? I noticed that they were doing that to him,
Oh, they
but
will.
I neglected to notice that they were doing that to me as well.
So when
I realized it.
when I go to like a meeting, like if I was coming to meet Manny at his house and trying to sell him a generator and stuff like that, if it's an agreement where I'm going to do this for this,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But if I feel this is a negotiation where if you don't do this or if I don't do this, this is what's going to happen. But I'm just like, or if he just keeps wanting his side and not looking out for my side, I'm just
Right.
like, we'll shake hands and we'll walk. You can walk that way, I'll walk this way, and I'll, you know what I mean? I'm a dime a dozen.
There's still your professionalism about
Yeah.
being a
Right,
client, right? So
Yeah.
you can help as many people, but I would just say the more you get into this industry, be selective of who you help.
Well, that comes with the experience on
Yes.
knowing how to read people.
Yes.
Like I'm pretty damn good after that many
But
years.
then eventually people will take advantage. That's the problem.
and when
that-
something
and they
bad
won't
happens,
care. They
when
won't
something
care.
bad happens, like getting stiffed,
Yeah.
and it will happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
You have to make a decision.
We're getting
Hey.
close to the end, gentlemen, but sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say that the client that I fired, I lost money on that job and I left money on the table.
Live and learn.
But I realized you live and learn, and money's not
But
everything.
you lost lesser money.
By not
firing
continuing.
them. Yeah.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Yes.
No more energy.
Yeah, bro.
Am I assuming Milwaukee?
Hell yeah.
Come on.
Team Red.
You know what?
How did I magically know that?
I just bought another SDS today.
I became Milwaukee maybe 3 years ago.
What were you before?
DeWalt. I was a big DeWalt guy for a long time. I was a big
That's
DeWalt
about
guy.
when you became friends with me, so it kind of makes
Does
sense.
DeWalt offer like therapy classes for you people or something like that?
They must.
DeWalt's good.
And it
They're
was
all
just
good.
I'll be honest, I just switched for because they're all more compact and stuff like that. And I like that.
Options.
Yeah. So
And
So
then, and then,
catered.
and then
It's-
what? Like, okay, is it Klein or who we like? Who
My thing
Anything
is
German.
Milwaukee.
anything German.
I'm big
German
on-
made. Klein's German made.
Of course,
Yeah.
I
But
know.
anything any tool German made.
Fluke is German
Sure.
or Fluke is American?
Fluke
No,
has a German office.
I'm big. You got my Milwaukee. I got my Fluke. I got my Klein.
Yeah.
The other ones, I don't like the handles, man.
You don't
find
like
them that
Weira?
they get sticky. Your hands get dirty.
You don't like Weir or anything
I
like that?
find them they get too sticky after a while.
I just don't like the thickness.
That's what it is too. But
Like Klein's got a ratio. I don't know
yeah,
what
it's
it is.
nice.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm a big Klein guy. And
Everybody battery power fishing tape now?
No,
Absolutely not.
No way. Who bought? seriously,
I was
does
told
anybody
by
have that?
Not
I
me.
was told by
Not
some
me.
electricians that it's
No.
worth it.
That and people buying the staple gun now.
Oh.
I'm like, oh,
What's wrong with the staple gun?
I like
what the
staple
battery
gun.
powered staple gun
I
for
like the staple
cables?
gun.
You don't like it?
He hates
You know,
it.
you can get a cordless one, like right there.
It's called your hand.
My hammer costs more than that staple gun.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys living by that staple gun now.
I haven't
Oh,
found the
no.
fucking staple gun.
It's gonna take him time. It's
Come
gonna take him
on.
time, but he's gonna flip.
So,
He will. He will. I'm looking for it. I haven't been able to find it.
Go to Gullivan in Vaughan. Whole wall of them.
Milwaukee? Because
Yep.
I see the
Milwaukee.
DeWalt one everywhere,
Nope,
and I'm
Milwaukee.
like, nah, bro, I don't want that.
I want to
No
go.
offense to
I
the
want to
Milwaukee
go
there.
briefly back to generators. Is there any environmental impact?
No, they're pretty stringent on the EPAs. For them
Okay.
to cross the border to come into here to deal with our bullshit.
Canada's stricter than the U.S.
Oh yeah.
Canada's stricter than Europe.
I don't think. I don't
don't know
think.
about-
I don't think Canada's stricter than California. I think California has the strictest
California
codes.
is just a mess.
They lose power.
But they have
Days.
they have the strictest energy codes out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying in general, like when it crosses the when we order our Kohlers, we specifically have to pick Canadian because they're built different, right?
Oh, really? Eh?
Because they have to meet the standards.
CSA.
Our
CSA
safety,
standards.
our
CSA
safety
approved,
is
right?
our safety factor is better,
Higher.
I think. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. So by accident, I didn't click online the CSA one, so the American one came, and I opened it up, and I'm like, oh yeah, huge difference.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
But you have to return it.
cheaper.
Is it cheaper?
Yeah.
They don't
it's
have
cheaper.
they don't require on your service equipment. They don't require a guard. They have these little
Open, wide open.
Yeah, it's all wide open. All they have to do is put these little guards on the wires and stuff like that. They don't require a top guard and you bordering that off.
Their sound decibels
Is
there's
higher.
there's no restriction, so they have a different muffler.
It's Americans are a bunch of cowboys. Eh?
But no, I just
No, they're
No,
just
I
different
love them
standards.
But the more getting back to your question, it was about an environmental standpoint,
Yeah.
right? So the more generators that get out there, and let's just say, everybody remembers the big power outage of
Yes.
19.
Of course.
So everybody remembers that.
2011.
One.
Yeah, I
One
can't.
like that.
I can't remember when it
yeah.
was.
I
So
thought
I
it was
just
like
remember.
99,
I just remember
2000
everybody on the
something
job
like
site
that.
looking at me, going, "What did you do?" And I'm like, "I did not.
What did you do?
I did nothing."
Hiding the pliers with a big blowout
Yeah,
on them.
I did nothing. And then, but can you imagine that happen? So let's just say we have an influx of generators, and that happened now
It will.
on the hottest day of the year.
Oh.
Air
Trudeau's gonna do
quality.
it.
Air quality. You don't think that's going to make a dent in air
Of course
quality?
it will.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So there you go.
That's what I'm saying is that if every home had a generator, every home had an EV, had power, whatever, all that shit, man. It's just gonna be.
And guess what? In the summertime, guess what the most common exercise time is? Tuesday at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's what everybody puts.
Yeah.
Because it comes for a Generac, it comes standard Tuesday at 10 o'clock. Yeah, don't change. It's fine.
By default, yeah.
Yeah. So
What's
nobody
with-
ever wants to change.
What's with the Tuesday?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I'm sure there's a story behind it.
There's just a random. That's what it comes standard.
Yeah. So I always change it Thursday.
Nobody
at 12.
ever changes it, and there's just everybody's generator is going to come on together. And
So
stuff.
environmentally wise, gas, propane, or natural gas, fuel, what's better? Or they're all the same at the end of the
Propane.
day?
Propane's the best.
Propane is always
Propane would be the
best, eh?
cleanest.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would definitely be the
Yeah.
cleanest.
And you'll get the highest kilowatt output off it.
But again, you go
burns
back to
cleaner.
having that white sausage on your property, right?
Yeah.
And you can't do that in the city.
Yeah, you can do it.
Well,
in the city.
Never heard it called a white sausage.
It looks like a tube. I don't know.
totally-
Benny's aging himself.
I'm totally gonna call it that one day. Yeah, we're gonna have to put a big white sausage on your property.
Do you want a big white sausage? Yeah. Well, that's what my husband called himself. Right?
that's
So
great.
might as well put a big white. Okay. So, what else? I think I didn't even talk about permits, but you guys are not having problems getting permits. Permits are pretty straightforward, right?
No.
Pretty
So
simple.
Especially
yeah,
because
you just got to pull a permit out for your install. Generators are mandatory inspection, whether or not some of them, I mean, if you got an inspector that comes and inspects you all the time, he might not come by, but generators are mandatory inspections and stuff like that. Then
I
on
can't
t-
wait till they get the app out and rolling because it's not up yet and it's supposed to be by now.
Then on top of that, with diesel installations, you then have some.
that's a whole nother ball.
Yeah, you have some other permitting to do. First time it gets filled up, you need I think you need the fire marshal there.
Really?
So pretty sure it's the fire marshal.
Yeah, they get involved from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Really, eh?
So
Yeah,
you need
it's
to
crazy.
you need to apply, especially
Is that new? That's new.
No.
Well,
When it
the
comes
last
to
one I
diesel?
did was 10 years ago.
Okay, well,
a diesel generator.
Not a diesel. I'm sorry. I just
No, this has
natural-
to do
No,
with
we're talking about
diesel.
diesel.
Oh, this is just diesel one.
Yeah.
What is it? A concern that there might be a leak or something? And
The
Oh,
rules and
yeah.
regulations for diesel is out of this world. And that's
if
why
you dump, especially in like conservation, if you were to dump like an entire diesel tank, the amount that you would have to pay. There's a guy up north in Muskoka that they had a holding tank up top, and then they have their generator down by the lake. The guy had two valves on it. One of them was left open. They dumped an entire tank into the lake. The guy that owns the place is a lawyer, and he's suing everybody. Yikes! Because Ministry of Environment gets involved, and they basically diesel doesn't disappear.
Right, so it's just going to stay in the system. So how do you get rid of it then?
Remediation.
Yeah, pay. Again,
remediation. You have to dig out let's just say this is our plot of land and we just dump like a tank of diesel out here, we have to dig down, remove all of this.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So the answer is always go propane.
Always go with the white sausage. Man.
White sausage for the win.
White sausage for the win.
White sausage generator coming to Innisfil.
All right, so we all know that estimating and bidding, always stick with your price. Don't ever modify your price. That's it. This is what it is. Figure out what your price point is. Figure out your business and profit and everything like that, right? So
as long as it's fair, yeah.
Yeah, that's all it is. I mean, you're always going to be, I'm sure you guys probably price similarly outside of the cost of the unit itself.
I tell them mine's going to be the most expensive. If you can't afford it, call him. Because his is going to be lower.
But yours
cost.
is more expensive just because the unit is a little bit more expensive.
Right. Literally
but the work itself is the same.
Exact same.
That's what I'm saying, is that anybody who's quoting a job, even if you're quoting a job, it's probably going to be similar to their price. If it's when you get the cowboys that are like way cheaper, you're going, you got to question what.
And we'll get those service calls sooner or later.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys site conditions. Just one last question. So just like where to find the ideal spot and what that spot should look like, ground wise, concrete pad, minimum this. What is that? What is all that about?
Generac, actually, it's beyond me why they do this. They only recommend 5 inches of pea gravel or 3.
Not even a concrete base?
No, they don't. They do not. So we do that. Like we dig down 4 inches. We put down gravel. We put down a gen pad, bolted to the gen pad. We do that all the time.
And I even use the Generac gen pads on the Kohler Generator.
Yeah.
It actually fits.
So we do that all the time, but they're just recommending that. So the biggest thing that we look at is when we're quoting the job is you got to remember this thing's so a 22 kilowatt is 437 pounds dry.
Ours is 550.
So why would you want that sitting on pea gravel?
No, what I'm saying is you got to get it from the driveway to the location.
To the location.
Yeah. So how are you going to get it there? That's the biggest consideration I always have about trying to convince somebody.
Come on, Captain.
Tyler, I got some job notes to do. There
you go.
I just did a pad for my AC unit, and I did like 12 inches of gravel, and then I did 7.5 inches of concrete, and then I poured it, let it cure, and then the unit itself has radiuses on it, so I carved the concrete. And then the HVAC guy shows up and was like, what the fuck is all this about, right? Then the very next day, he's like posting and sharing the pic. And I'm like, that's what it's all about, man. I don't want that thing moving. I want it to be lined up perfectly. And it's just, what's the big deal, man? Oh, and I added white Portland cement into it to make the concrete a little whiter.
I came to
match the white sausage.
I came to a generator one time. It was still mounted on the skid.
Yep. The wood was rotted. He sent me the picture.
Oh, wow.
It was still mounted on the skid.
They installed the generator with the wood skid still.
There's a generator I drive by almost every day that I didn't get the sale, and this thing is cocked on a 45-degree angle into the ground, and I was too expensive.
Well, that's what you
pay
right?
for.
Isn't that a risk, though, when you're actually connecting gas to it and the power to it? And
that engine won't last. It has to be level for everything to work properly.
Yeah.
So you're just basically damaging the unit at that 100%. Point.
Yeah. And it's going to shake a lot. The unit's shaking quite considerably.
Which is going to increase the decibels, which doesn't make any sense at that point, right? So
I
want to wrap it up. Tyler, you got a question for any of these guys? I'm sure you've always asked Pato questions, but have you got a question for all three of them or anything like that?
Not at the moment.
Ask whatever you want, bro. I don't have too many answers left up here.
I just want to say thank you for the advice that you guys gave me and everything. Yeah. I really appreciate it.
Like, I would also suggest try to make your circle of like your business circle as big as you can be, like pick his brain, pick this guy's brain, pick this guy's brain, everything.
Because you're allowed.
Yeah.
He always says there's never such thing as a stupid question.
Never, ever.
Even though sometimes he might laugh at me, but you know,
Got to break balls sometimes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we had it worst.
Hey,
it doesn't mean it's a stupid question.
when you get your 309, that's the right you get. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
So getting back to the arrogance thing.
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just meant. That's
the license we have.
God, that's the license. What it is?
Yeah.
9A.
Okay, I got a GM. That's what I got. With a good record, man.
Yeah, but you need a license, don't you?
No, not in the
Toronto?
city in Toronto.
Really?
All right. Huh.
I thought
That's
you-
going to change.
I'm sure it will.
It's going to change.
I'm sure it will.
They want
one
that
day.
cash grab too. Don't
That's
worry.
what I mean. It doesn't make you a better. I just keep arguing back and forth. It's the job that you're currently on.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because we've all done like whatever. We could have had a bad day, a good day, whatever. So, gentlemen, thank you so much, man. Honestly, it's been a blast talking to you guys, talking all electrical and learning all kinds of stuff. And the reason I wanted to start these roundtables was about just educating everybody, understanding that it's community, not competition. You guys aren't competing.
100%.
You're not looking at each other as competition.
Not at all. I
Electrical
learned a
trade,
lot.
any other trades, there's always plenty of work out there for people who want to do amazing work. That's as simple as it gets.
And that's why you get to pick and choose.
Yeah.
As you get older, you realize you need more allies in the industry than you
Oh.
ever, you know what I mean? Than you ever need enemies.
100%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you never know where, like, I might run into him next month and on a job and be like, you know what I mean?
I need a hand, man.
Yeah, I need a hand. Come give me a
You're
hand.
never going to get to know everything.
Oh.
No.
So the more friends you make,
Yeah.
the better. Because you can always help each other
And it's
out.
the weirdest ways how you met. Like, I met Carlo on Instagram. You know what I mean?
That's how we
did-
met.
Yeah.
Social media for the win on this one.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll even beat you on that one. So I met Larry Serpa, who's been on the show a few times. So he's Portuguese from Vancouver Island. Met him through Instagram. His family is from the same small town in the Azores on a single island of a population of 15,000. He's literally, his family's down the street from where my family was.
Oh, wow.
Well,
What are
that's,
the odds of that?
that's meant to be.
Wow.
And we get along really well.
Oh, yeah.
I was just talking to him today.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like the power of this connection. Like we met through construction, through this show, through Instagram, and his family's from the same small little town that my family's from.
Nice.
That's insane, right?
Yeah, and you can feel people out. Everyone's different. So if you don't like them,
Well, that's it.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. Like, I really don't, man.
this is why I like this.
I
show.
don't give
That's
a
it, man.
You're like you know what I love? Recently, I've been seeing guys that I don't like. We had our differences. They've said shit about me, trying to reconnect with me. And I'm
love
like,
it.
listen,
Gotta love
fucker, I'm Portuguese, man. You fucking burn me. You always burnt. It just, that's how it works. Unless you save my life one day, you're always burnt.
Now you know.
So I'm not going to be your
exactly.
friend. I got room for other friends.
Yep.
That's it. What? Share the deets again?
P Square Inc. is Instagram is Pato the Electrician, P Square Electric, and info@psquare.ca.
Charlie.
psquareinc.ca. Sorry.
Did you start your own Instagram page yet? Or do you have a page?
I have not.
Oh, start
Why
it up,
not?
man.
I have Instagram, but I don't have.
Tyler the Apprentice. That works.
It's his era. It's his
Yeah, I don't understand why you don't. You just don't want to be consumed by
He's
it?
an old soul, bro.
Yeah, that's what it
telling
is.
You, he's an old soul.
Get on it.
You should get on it.
Yeah, you're always gonna need to promote yourself somehow. You know what I mean? And
I'll think about it.
you know a lot of guys that if you're just overboard on the Instagram or whatever, but a lot of guys that post pictures of their work, it shows you're proud of what you do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like we're very I post stuff all the time, and like we're very transparent of what we do. I'm very proud of what I do, man. Like
Yeah, for sure.
you know what I mean?
For sure.
So I love all the comments when
Even the
fire.
haters. Even the haters.
Hey,
What is it again? It's Davidson_electrical?
Yeah, I think on Instagram it's Davidson. I'm on Facebook too, Davidson's Electrical. Websites, davidsonselectrical.ca. Everybody messes up my name, though. There is an S at the end of Davidson. So nobody ever puts that S in.
It's Davidson's.
Davidson's, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, nobody ever puts that in. So,
It's okay.
but
I get called Carlos every day.
yeah.
It's easy to say Carlos. That's why I guess it is, right? But Carlos is more Spanish, isn't it?
Yeah,
And
oh, yeah.
Carlo is more Italian, right? That's
You're
why.
never gonna get a Spanish guy call you Carlo.
I don't correct.
I'm
correct
trying to
anybody.
make him into like
Carl.
an old dude calling him Carl.
Carl. He's calling me Carl.
Kohler Carl.
With the white sausage.
This is Kohler.
a K.
This is Kohler Carl over here. He's doing a bowling league on Thursdays.
Sounds great to me. And
What is it again?
I'm at Effect Electric Ltd. Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
And you guys are work-wise, it's all word of mouth, right? Like you guys aren't really doing
Yeah.
marketing, right?
Haven't advertised in 12 years.
Yeah, it's all word
I
of
actually
mouth.
just started.
Really?
Yeah, recently just started just for generators.
Okay.
Just to get the word out there?
Yeah, I mean people just don't know and you have to inform them.
I'm still a little surprised that Kohler hasn't, other than like I said, I learned because of you that they even did generators, but I guess they need to up their marketing game, right?
And they have.
So they are
Yeah.
going to.
Well,
now.
they just built, in my opinion, one of the best ones, right? So they're
You ever
pumping
gonna
it
go
out.
to the dark side?
Yeah, maybe.
You know, so we were talking about this before. Like, I'm not married. Like, yeah, I'm a Generac dealer. They're easy to fix. They're easy to manipulate and stuff like that, and easy to install everything. So if I had it my way, if I had the budget, what would I put on my place? Kohler, right?
I always ask that question. Like
So I think every generator has their benefits to it. You know what I mean? All around, when you look at like engine enclosure, like Kohler makes the best hands down looking one. Like if you see their new look to them, oh, sleek.
yeah, the colors, man.
Oh yeah.
I'm not crazy about the
camouflage.
You know what I mean?
camouflage one.
You don't like the camouflage one?
I'm not a hunter. I'm not a.
I'm not a hunter.
Carlito would love the camouflage
Yeah,
one.
so-
He'd get a matching suit. You know what I mean? And
But-
stand right beside it.
I would say like so for an engine, I like the Cummins. You know what I mean? For ease of like for all around trying to sell it, Generac for me. You know what I mean? They're easy to sell. There's just like you.
I
They
feel that
basically did half the sales with their marketing. You know what I mean? For portables, I'm a huge Honda guy. You know what I mean? Honda all the way. You know what I mean? But if
They'll
like
last.
yeah, but if I were to go put one on, I'll be honest, I'd be buying one off him and I'd put it on my property. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm in a town, so I don't really need one. So
You're going to get one.
Is that client dead set on that model that he's already convinced?
So far, Generac, because that's
Tell
all
him to
they
do his
know.
homework.
I'm definitely gonna tell him about you.
Well, just tell him to do his
I'll
homework.
even tell him to reach out because he doesn't even know
Exactly.
about them.
yeah,
That's what I mean.
So at least this way, it's more options, and who knows what comes out of it. But nevertheless, he's going Generac because that's all he knows. Somebody said, "Oh, put on a Generac. They're generators. That's all."
And
they
you know
do."
what? Whichever one he picks, just tell him the most important thing is maintenance.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Once
right.
a year maintenance. That's all it takes.
In the book, when you look in a book, and everybody tells me this, so when you look in the book, they show like 2 years or 200 hours. But then when you look at the asterisk, it says if you live in a climate that changes from this to this, which we live in Canada, and it does.
Yes.
It says 1 year, 100 hours. So every year around right at the tail end of summer, we start doing our annual calls.
And it's a lot.
You know, would you want Pat to stop by, do the service? Yes, no.
And both of you guys will. Both of you guys offer a service package where
Yes.
we'll
Service maintenance.
I don't like so the way we do it, we don't sign contracts.
Okay, got
You know what I mean? We just basically
Oh, I don't have any contracts either.
every year my wife will just call up. She'll start calling. We have a customer database. She'll just start calling them up and be like,
That's
"You
right.
want Pat to stop by and do an annual service? It's due."
Only annuals, because again, coming from commercial, there's annuals, there's monthlies, there's
Yeah, so-
bi-monthlies and whatnot.
Well, I get like generator calls. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to fix one.
right.
So
You know
mine.
what I mean? So
You're going to fix one tomorrow too?
Yeah, separate from his.
it's I got a lemon that a guy in Barrie dropped off, and it was just ever since it's been solid, it keeps going faulted out. So
Right.
you know what I mean?
So the only electrical joke I know is you guys are not magicians. You guys are electricians. Are there any other ones that I don't know about?
Oh, there's so many.
Is there so many?
I can't think of any off the top of my head because you put me on the spot, but there's so many.
Well, Tyler's still looking.
Has
for the
anybody
wire stretcher.
ever said to you, "Hey, what are you doing? Pulling your wire?"
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
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 You know what I absolutely fucking hate
never
is when
done-
somebody comes in and be like, "Hey, Sparky," and they're like, "Yeah, I used to do
You know
a
what? I can handle the guys
Oh.
with those. I can't handle the women.
Oh, hey,
What do
Sparky.
you mean?
Like if a guy says a stupid joke, you're just like, ha, 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 funny. But when a woman says it to you, you don't know what the hell to do. Just turn around and walk out.
Sparky's an old English term.
I
Though.
was gonna say
Yeah,
that
I
comes
just-
from English.
Yeah, it's an English term.
I've always hated the Sparky thing.
Why?
I don't know. I just
Because that's a reflection of you're doing something wrong.
yeah, you're just
you're
fucking everything up.
You're creating an arc.
Yeah, you're fucking everything up.
Yeah.
Nothing. No jokes on you guys. You haven't heard anything, Tyler? Nothing. Really?
It's, you know why? It's
Tyler,
always the
you-
same shit. Like, oh, are you pulling your wire again?
Tyler,
Yeah.
you still don't like the wire stretcher shit?
He's still looking for it.
Still haven't found it. It's
I should have said, I'm such an idiot. The first time I should have just sent him to Home Depot. Go to Home Depot and go look for the wire. And over my head, I totally forgot. I would have been fucking funny.
I'm just curious. Yeah, just to wrap it up. What's your favorite suppliers to use? You guys,
I actually go with the person, not the name.
the salesperson.
Salesperson.
That's actually a good point.
Ideal Supply. Ideal Supply is probably my best, like my easiest one to go. I go between CES.
Because you know the people.
Well, not only that, it's the way that it's set up. I got VMI right on, so I have a catalog of material, and I can take a picture of everything and then do the order like that. Like it has QR codes attached to everything, so I can just do it like that. And they're accommodating that way. The only thing about them that I don't like is they're very local. Like they got their head office in Listowel, and then they just do this arc.
Oh.
Yeah, but you stay up there anyways.
Yeah, like that. So I don't mind that. But like, so if I come down here, or I use CES a lot.
Yeah.
I keep calling it Torbram all the time, but it's CS. And if I'm down here, if I'm down here, I go to CS all the time.
Pato, what do you use?
I have a residential supplier, which they're great, and then I have a commercial supplier, which they're great. I've had a good relation with them, which I built when I worked for the other company.
Okay, yeah.
So because I was there for so long, I will see them all the time. So I'm like, okay, you guys are my commercial guys, you guys are my residential, and then I have a wire supplier.
Yeah.
So I don't buy wire.
Yeah. Currently, mine is Gullivan.
I go to Noramco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gullivan's everywhere.
Massive wire supplier.
Yeah.
So I don't buy wire, any supplier. I go there. I just buy a
How's the
bulk.
wire ever going to go down, guys?
No, not now.
No.
Once it went up, it's staying up. It came down a little bit, but
It's still
nevertheless
ridiculous.
not what
It's
it
still
used
ridiculous.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, Kyler, you basically realize that this business is all about relationships, good or bad, or just whatever. And
Should be.
yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody is always going to think you're expensive.
Yep.
Everybody will always
Oh,
think
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Let them.
You know,
Yep.
like I'm always dumbfounded by the fact that people will go buy this for like $1,000, but
1,000.
2,000 now.
I don't know how much they are.
They're 2,000
I don't
now.
buy, like, I don't know. So, but people will go buy that. But then they try to get you down on your price when you're in their house
Yeah.
working on their house.
Electrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'm like, I can give you a really bad day right now.
like, give me a plug
I don't
for
get
my
it. I don't
70-inch
get it.
TV.
I
I'm like,
don't get it.
do you want me to buy the cheap breakers?
I don't get
It's
it.
for the safety of your home.
Yeah, no, it's insane. And that's never going to change. And that's why residential, because I'm new to it, right? I'm like, fuck, man, I'm going back to commercial, man. At least I don't have to
Well, if
deal
you
with
have the
these
option,
people, you know what I
if
mean?
you have the option,
yeah,
definitely.
like, that's...
I go
commercial
back
for
to
me.
find your niche and just focus on that. Once you've learned what
Yeah.
you want to learn, find
Yeah.
your niche and focus on that, and you'll be very efficient. You'll be a good, successful business.
It's funny
person.
because before I used to bitch and complain about doing service calls for fire alarm, repairs, replacing panels. Now I'm like, okay, I need more fire alarm, man, because I can't deal with this homeowners, man. You know what I mean? Like,
As I got older, all I want to do now is service calls.
That's
yeah.
right.
Just go and fix whatever. I just want to go fix it.
I'm
You know what
a
I
service
mean?
company.
I don't.
yeah,
I don't
become
like,
a service-based. Yeah.
I have
Don't
my
have to deal
customers
with
and I
this.
have my good relationships.
Like I don't care if I ever install another generator for the rest of my life, as long as they call me for maintenance and service.
That's all I
I'm
care
then
about.
you're good.
So my generator side is primarily repair work.
Nice.
Like I don't install nearly what he installs. Like
I repair too.
no,
that's
but
your
I
bread and
don't-
butter these days,
I don't install
right?
nearly
No.
what you install.
No, well, how much work are you
Well,
doing generator-wise?
I get the repair from the install.
yeah.
Right, right.
So I do as many installs as I can because I'm a fan and I love it. Like I actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? He couldn't care to pick up those things and drop them in place. If it's already there, I'll fix it.
Because they get heavier with age, man. I know where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah,
dude.
like if somebody were to call me up and I would rather do 10 service calls than install a generator. You know what I mean?
I love it.
I like them
North of the 401.
I gotta be honest, with you,
Always.
I like when they break down too, because it's like you just gotta go in there and
It's a
then-
challenge.
And there's a lot of
Problem solving.
A lot of times somebody says to me like, "Yeah, somebody told me to call you."
Yeah.
And I'm
Three
like-
guys have been here. No one could figure it out. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling when you know you got to go fix something that somebody else couldn't.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It's like
You ever ask who the 3 guys that showed
Oh,
up
yeah,
here?
yeah.
Want to know a quick
He's
story?
taking all their business.
Want to know a quick story that made my career worth it? Was I go to fix a jacuzzi, right? And one of the guys that tried to fix it was my old electronics teacher that told me that
oh, nice. Yeah, that must have felt nice.
Yeah.
I
for
would-
sure.
honestly, I would love to name him right now, but I won't.
No.
But
George Brown?
no,
Okay. I wouldn't know him then.
Humber.
Oh, okay.
Really?
He was my
man?
old electronics teacher, and the guy, apparently the guy that I was working for, he's in a band with him. He mentions his name, and I'm like, that's my old electronics teacher. He goes, yeah, he looked at it too. He couldn't figure it out. So but as soon as I filled it up, got it running, I'm like, there, it's gone. And they're like, and I'm just like, yeah, tell so and so.
We had the musician here, man. He couldn't figure it out.
Awesome.
That's
Amazing.
funny. That's karma construction, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I got
Carlo,
problems.
thanks
Yeah.
so much, man.
No
Really
problem.
appreciate it. Great conversation. Pat, nice to finally meet, man.
Oh,
and
it's
just talk
great
shit.
great
And
being here.
You're welcome back anytime and tell your story. I'd love to have you back on the show and just
Oh,
tell
I'd
your
love to
story,
come
man.
back.
So it's amazing. And Tyler, I know that you were talking too much today, man. But no, you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You're listening, man, and just understanding and man, all the best to you, bro. You're with an amazing teacher, and you know that you could reach out to these guys anytime too, right? That's the thing about it.
100%.
And I can honestly say, without getting in trouble, you could probably reach out to any of the electricians. I was about to say Sparky, electricians that have been on the show, and they will answer any questions you want, man. Seriously, they all been solid people that have been on the show, right? So, and Pato, always a pleasure, bro.
Always
Thank you
a
so
pleasure,
much, man. That's gonna get
100%.
consumed really quickly, man. So I appreciate
Love it. Awesome. Enjoy
Thank you
it,
guys.
brother.
I really appreciate it. We're out of here, man. Thank you,
All right.
Angelina.